What's up, everyone? Welcome to Clash Royale League Asia 2019 Season number 1. My name is G-Clap. With me is Clint Paperthin. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I have to be good because I missed the first day of Phase 2.
You did.
But it's the second day I'm here. I'm gonna love it. I've seen Magic Archer.
You saw it. You thought they waited until Phase 2 to bring it out, but it came. We saw a lot of other crazy stuff. We saw Bowler. We saw
with the giant,
a clone.
yes.
Yeah.
With the lava hound that failed,
Yeah.
yes. Like, you clone everything and then E-Wizard drops on top.
Yeah, E-Wizard just wrecks that dream.
Yes. So
There's a lot that wrecks that dream.
It was pretty cool. And a cannon cart because of
Yep.
a Mega Minion ban. I believe, maybe was it Legend? I
Yeah.
believe it was Legend that played that, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some deck changes and actually somewhat of a meta change, I would say, in terms of what the players are using, because we're seeing a lot of meta card bans directly, like Mega Minion ban, Barbaro being banned, some of those small little cards like the Ice Golem all the time, really forcing all the players to switch out a few cards that makes it uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah, and it makes it a little bit harder to predict what each player is going to do, because they have to kind of switch the usual order of the cards you'll see in certain decks and certain meta decks and try to adapt to the fact that their meta cards have been banned. So it makes it really interesting and really, really fun for the league. But here's our group standings.
Let's continue. Oh, man. It's being every single day with all the scores being updated. We're seeing teams climbing higher. Chaos Theory. No. Seems like they are stuck with that 4 now. Seems like they are getting some higher numbers with that losses just recently. Kicks climbing up higher, really good from Group B. Now, we can't just have Group A, Group B separately, because we are having the clash between the groups, as you can see. Left side, Group A. Right side, Group B.
Yeah, so Talon versus Ponos, that should be an interesting one. Talon's a little bit of a struggle. They're 4th place in their group. They're 2 and 3 versus Ponos, who's struggling for them. 3 and 2, they're 3rd in their group. So that's a really, really big match for both of them. Then you go down to Bren, who continues to have a great year this year. They're 4 and 1 so far.
Yeah, their 2v2's insane.
Their 2v2's insane. All of the SCA 2v2 is actually really good.
Oh, yes.
They're really good at 2v2. And because they have, some new 1v1 players, well, not new, but they have Benzer, who's really stepped up this season in 1v1.
Yep. Also, Sandbox.Gaming, OG, and Entus. All the matches are waiting, but we're moving on today. We're just going straight into our first match. Here comes Talon, Southeast Asia. They're really, compared to Korea and Japan, they're really sticking their duo for the 2v2. And keeping them up, and it seems like they're having actually better results than the teams that are changing their members all the time.
Yeah, I think it seems like what we're finding in 2v2 is that it's probably better to just stick with a duo and just try to make it work, because 2v2 is so much different than 1v1, because it's not just about your ability to read the situation and adapt to it. It's also about your ability to communicate with your teammate to make sure you're not fumbling over each other, making sure the timings are okay. You get the tower down in time before, to make sure you can drag the unit to it or whatever. So this is Ponos. We've got Ten God, Raiki Jones, Rad, Kota, and Mikan Boya. And we'll see what lineup they want to roll with today. A lot of times we've been seeing Mikan in the 2v2s.
Yep, and he did come out a few times in the 1v1s. Not really having the great results. I believe still yet to get that first win on this 1v1 set. He got that final win on the King of the Hill. That was a great one, but still not really having the great result in total. And usually playing 2v2 with 10 God, so it could continue. Let's see what Ponos wants to focus today. And
yep,
boom.
Okay, there you go. I think both the teams taking their strongest 2v2 lineups that they can bring here. SB and The Rock have been, relatively successful together. I mean, they're 2 and 1 together, so they've been pretty good. SB's done well when called upon in the 1v1 as well, but he's pretty strong at 2v2. 10 God and Mikambuya, of course, they're 2 and 1 in their 2v2s as well. So this should be a pretty good matchup. Golem being banned.
Yeah, understandable for 2v2. We're seeing a lot more. Especially the movement from China is always following in Asia in Clash Royale League, and somewhat more of Golem, and there were a lot more giant double prints, but it seems like compared to last week, this week, moving into this week, seeing a lot more Golem continuing from other regions, so maybe that's the reason. And Tornado ban, I think this just screams for a Lava Miner 2v2. That has been happening a lot yesterday too. I think it can just follow because of that Tornado ban too. Golem being banned for 1v1, it's pretty rare actually, but against Master Hong, I think that's a snipe one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Golem's been really popular across like other regions. Not just China, I've seen it in EU and other regions as well, where like Golem decks, like even like something like Golem Balloon,
Yeah, also England.
Golem Prince.
Yeah, also England because Simon plays that all the time. We miss you, Simon.
We miss you, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, SB and the Rock. Let's see what they wanna pull out here. It's interesting because we actually didn't see any Golem in 2v2 yesterday.
Yeah, it's really rare.
Yeah.
And it's still rare enough that we have a lot more, of course. We slightly moved back in history and saw a lot of Giant Skeleton plus the Royal Giant, partially because there was that Lumberjack ban, not raising the rage, simply affecting the Royal Giant to shoot straight into the tower. You need some other type of defense to block all the shot. As a shield, well, I guess bones can be a shield in a way. Those giant bones with a bomb, not bad.
Those bones and bones. Well, I mean, the interesting thing about 2v2 is like, kind of no matter what you ban, it leaves the door open for a lot of stuff unless somebody bans Royal Giant.
But you always
shuts
do want
down
to.
a lot of.
But you always want to ban that tornado.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
that's a start. It's a must.
Can't have it. It's gotta go.
That music cues for the game, though. We're ready. The first game between Ponos and Talon 2v2. Ponos on top. Ooh, that synergy. That was almost.
See, that shows you their teamwork. They've already got it going. Their emote synergy. All right, so looks like Giant Prince type kind of things. The Mega Knight. Ooh, Mega Knight down here. You don't see that too often in 2v2. At least not recently.
You've seen some P.E.K.K.A.s.
Yes.
But this is great. This is great against the Giant and the Dark Prince coming right behind it.
Yep, the Lumberjack. He chews through that Giant along with the Mega Knight. The Dark Prince coming up here as well for Talon. And he will get the charge onto that Musketeer and make quick work of her.
Yep. I think without the rage coming down from Ponos, they can't really have the best setup. We're just cycling first few cards. Of course, swing. And the Baby Dragon does lock onto the tower, so Ice Spirit has to be dropped to change the target.
Yep, it does change over to the Prince. The E-Wiz comes down to stop the charge on the Prince. Poison will help destroy that E-Wiz, though. Now, Ram Rider coming in here. The cannon coming down to defend.
And that will draw a lot of attention coming down from the Ram Rider. Also, good slow and knockback coming from Ponos. But Miner did somewhat of work on that top right. Compared to that Talon, barely scratched. About 200 just on that right bottom.
Yeah, the big story so far is the Dark Prince getting through onto Ponos' tower. He did the majority of the damage there, along with, you know, some spells and other things.
Yeah, and the problem will be Ponos, they have cannon, but once that lightning is paired up with the set of attacks that's going to come through that bridge for Talon, that cannon will be basically gone, and units will be going straight to the tower. Let's see how Ponos will defend it.
Yep, we'll see what they want to do behind all this. There's still a couple cards hidden here behind the Mega Knights. And I'm kind of curious to see what exactly they're thinking behind that. Baby Dragon and the Giant, we're trying to get our pushes set up for both teams. We're pretty close to max elixir here.
Yeah, you would say P.E.K.K.A.'s the best against Giant because it does so much damage. Well, Mega Knight pretty good because it does damage around the Giant, and a lot of units usually following the Giant too. There's that jump hitting both of them, and an Earthquake the moment Inferno Tower comes down.
Yeah, Earthquake paired up with Giant a lot these days. It goes really well to help it get in there, get through that Inferno Tower, but the Rage not enough to get through. Okay, a jump coming in. Oh, and it does land on the tower. They weren't able to get the units down in time.
Was that tower and the Giant and the Prince on the jump damage? I think so, right? It's a lot of damage from that Mega Knight.
It's crazy how large that splash radius is on that Mega Knight.
Yeah, the jump is pretty powerful. And also the spawn damage was insane. Lumberjack going to get free access?
No.
No, you gotta pay.
No. He doesn't have any legal cable box. he has to pay for his cable like the rest of us.
Yep. But Clash Royale's free, guys. And that's why we love it so much.
Yeah, this is really nice with the Mega Knights.
This is a different setup because the Mega Knights actually Mega Knight actually crossed the border a little too early, so the second one has to be dropped.
Right, but look at all this splash damage the second one is doing. He is getting so much damage done in there. It's crazy.
Ooh, the poison's working for Ponos somewhat, but they are behind by about 600.
Yep. Dropping maybe a lumberjack here. Nope, Mega Minion. Okay, to deal with that. Musketeer, good. Ice Spirit, but turns, yes, the skeletons do walk up just in time to change the target.
Nicely done. Yeah, without the tornado, it's really hard to predict where the miner is going to be. See the next setup? We know mostly all the cards except for just one from Talon.
Yep, this is gonna get
Early Rage to get it through here to delete that Mega Knight and then continue its walk.
Oh, this is scary. Look at all that beef, but another
Spawn
Mega
damage,
Knight.
nice. Dropped right on top, but still there are a few following units like the Prince, Ewiz. Okay, Ponos, they do want to pressure this.
Yeah, they want to get it in lightning range. There it is. Lightning will do it there for Talon. Really good, I think really good choice there by Talon to pick up the Mega Knight here, because if you think your opponent is going to do some of that giant double prince shenanigans, what you notice if you're watching is that not only does the jump damage hit the giants and the units that are directly behind it, but then the attacks, the splash damage hits those units as well. So you do things like eliminate the Dark Prince's shield, and you can also hit the Prince if he's behind it. So it's a really nice choice there.
Yeah, man. Ponos was actually stacking up too many units following behind the giant, which is perfect for Talon. Okay, if you got more units, I guess our Mega Knight's gonna have a lot more damage. So that was pretty cool. And the first one changing their rhythm, and I thought, okay, maybe they're powering down and preparing for something else. And it was the second one dropping on top with that spawn damage. So make sure it does damage to begin with. When it drops, because it's heavy, it's got a fat butt. When it drops, it does damage, and then it continues. It takes so much shots. It's actually incredible how they defended with that Mega Knight and also had their offense.
Right. Of course, the hit points just insanely high on that unit, one of the highest in the game. So it's just crazy how much it can just sit there and just suffer while it does a ton of damage around it. I mean, and that's the nice thing about it, right? Normally, if it's just one unit the Mega Knight's going up against, its DPS isn't very high. But the more units that it's hitting, all of a sudden its DPS is exponentially getting bigger, and it's becoming more and more valuable.
Yeah, also it's a pretty big unit in terms of mass and the size. So when you're trying to cross the bridge, it actually blocks somewhat of the speed from the opponent. I think they were all working towards that. So many things to talk about just from game one. Wow, already. This is getting too wild.
Well, it's nice when we see something that's a little off meta from what we've been seeing, because then it really gives us something where we can be like, all right, we haven't talked about this like 5 times in the last week. Like, so, okay, looks like maybe once again, both teams okay, so Ponos going for Prince Giant again, and it looks like Talon might be opting for something similar, so we might have more of a mirror matchup, possibly. We'll see how this unfolds, but it's looking pretty similar between the two teams so far.
Yeah, bringing that lightning, helping them delete the back line like the Musketeer, the Mega Minion. Comes easy.
Whoa, that Ewiz did not stop. Oh, the charge there, it only hit the Dark Prince.
Yeah, some elixir for Mikambuya, but just enough with the Ice Spirit. Couple shots, that's about it though.
Still, you get the advantage there for Talon is that they get a couple shots from the Musketeer.
Ponos, they were willing to cycle and use that rage early on to destroy that big push. Here comes Poison from Talon, hitting that cannon plus the tower.
Yep, the
Dark Prince.
Oh, Dark Prince is connecting, getting a lot of swings in there. And the,
one more punch.
Oh my God.
I thought it almost canceled within the during the animation, but the damage actually went in.
Yeah, I thought it canceled, but you're right, it does go in. And that is why I dubbed the Giant One Punch Man. He only ever gets one punch.
And that's enough.
Plus
Switching lanes, okay. That's also true. Switching sides, because both of the teams, they basically know that, okay, you have to defend better and then push for the next set of waves. Smart idea. Good move from Ponos.
Yeah, the Poison here, catching the Musketeer and a little bit of the Princes before they move on out. A zap to stop the charges. That one Prince, is he going to get a hit in? He does get one. Will he get two? Nope. He winds up, but the second one does not connect. And now,
and a surprise attack onto the right side from Talon. A good cannon response though, but the Dark Prince charge with the poison, and that tower's gone. Ponos, are they going to focus on the left side only?
Yeah, they've got to try to make it happen now on the left. They've got to try to take advantage of this. Rage on their side of the bridge.
The giant drag on that, both Prince.
All right, this Giant's getting more than one punch in. He is going to town. And now on the right-hand side, a Prince comes in and connects as well. This is...
Where do you defend first? Left side, poison is going to be gone. Right side, taking so much damage. I mean, Talon did some damage to the King Tower of Ponos, but that doesn't really matter too much in 2v2.
Great response here from Ponos to overwhelm that left-hand side and buy themselves enough time to have Talon overcommit resources to the left, and then they could push the right as well.
And Talon, they had that giant drag, which let the Prince connect to the other side, which eventually, as a result, helped Ponos to do more damage distributed in both towers.
Yep, there's an Earthquake there, but not really doing a ton of damage. Those Princes are fairly beefy. All right, Giant in the pocket with a Prince and a Mega Minion on top of it. That cannon just melts with that rage behind these units. Only one punch, though, for that Giant.
Not too much. And also there was, I believe, a Dark Prince right under that. And it was a defensive Prince from Ponos. So they will just cancel each other, not too much. How does Ponos, okay, their own pocket.
Yep, double Prince. That is going to make quick work of that Giant. Now, though, those Mega Minion and that Dark Prince on the other side getting some hits in. This could be it.
With that poison, I believe that's just more than enough damage. Snowball seals it. And a comeback. 1-1 tied between Talon and Ponos. Quick work and a great switch in the middle of the game, saying, okay, we lost a lot more HP on this tower. Let's force them to attack onto the other side. We are basically restarting the game on the other side.
Right, it became a weird issue for Talon where they had to commit resources to two different sides, and that allowed Ponos to take advantage of that, because when you have so many units on one side versus like half the units on the other, you're getting an advantage not just because you have more units and more elixir, but you're able to build more elixir because your units are going to destroy theirs faster because you have more firepower.
Yeah, sometimes you're okay, only if you have a unit that you can cover both sides, like the Skeleton Army. It splits into two. Like you need at least something like Goblin gangs with a lot of units together that you can split, like the guards, zappies, this goes on. But the set of units that Talon had, see, heavy elixirs, one unit. So if you place it in the middle, it has to go to one side. And if you split that many units, you're losing your own power to push right after. So when you're making that decision on the stage against these players, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, it's hard to say, exactly what maybe the best answer for Talon in that situation is. Should they just opt to just, they've already got, over 1,000 points of damage ahead of Ponos on their Princess Towers. Should they just opt to go for that right-hand lane and just try to outspeed Ponos in that battle?
The answer is Goblin Cage. We're not there yet!
We don't have that yet. Don't get people excited. We're not allowed. Not yet. It's a good card, though. I like it.
It looks fun.
Really good
I think it could affect our 2v2 a lot.
Yes.
Also 1-on-1. There's that Hog. I've seen a lot of Hog cycles coming from China, too. In 2v2. Straight up just Hog and Hog for both players.
We see it a lot at Group B. Group B likes the Hog Rider type stuff. This time it's Group A. This is Talon doing it. So it looks like another basically about the same deck here for Ponos. They're very comfortable. Practice this.
Yeah. It is going to be
Giant
the Hog.
Yep.
With that Lumberjack for extra cycle.
Just one hit. Just one hit from the Hog on that.
Skeletons, they do some work. They're not the strongest, but they're pretty cute.
They're cute, and you're mostly using them to kite other units around to try to make them, let the Princess Tower do the damage. Or you're using them to, like, distract a miner. They're good for that, too.
Or just a cycle.
Right.
So
there's a lot they're good for basically everything.
They have reasons, okay? Every card's got an opportunity in the game.
Who thought? Who would have thought? Are we going to see an Earthquake here? There it is. Lumberjack deals with that Prince.
Yeah, we've seen some prediction Earthquakes, and then the opponent does not really respond to the tower. I think that could change some, and it usually happens from the Japanese side. Okay, I'm just expecting this Inferno Tower or some kind of tombstone to be coming out, predictive Earthquake, and then nothing happens. And that actually changed a lot of the games yesterday.
Right.
Let's see if those happens again.
Ooh, offensive poison, but a freeze here. It's going to stop this push in its tracks. Along with the Iwa zapping things down. I believe this should be able to clean all this up. They have to use skeletons as well, but nothing doing on that push. But having to use freeze defensively like we saw yesterday sometimes put these teams on the back foot.
Freeze will be a problem with an Earthquake. Cannon gone. And even the skeleton, ooh, they do survive. They came a little after the first wave of Earthquake attack.
Yep, preemptive Inferno Tower this time. Which means they can get that Earthquake off whenever they feel like it. Not much left on that Inferno Tower, but I think that Giant isn't going to make it. Are any of those other units underneath there? There's a Lumberjack there, but this Mega Minion's going to get some hits in.
Oh. That Rage certainly helped Ponos a little further to push and connect some damage to the towers. But not too much, though. Still winning heavily, but one slip of that Hog Rider can be severe damage.
Oh, that snowball predictive, just a little too early.
No freeze.
No, they tried to get those skeletons with the snowball and missed. Now we've got a big push here on the bottom right again. A Mega Minion.
Rage on top.
Yep, and a poison as well on top of all of this. That's going to eventually get rid of that Musketeer.
Giant.
Oh, no, Giant.
Oh, just deleted before, but the Musketeer was working really hard on that, too.
Yep.
The difference is about 900 in the HP. Pocket Giant with no follow-up, okay.
Oh,
Freeze.
What? It's getting in there with the Earthquake as well. That's going to do it.
I think they had the freeze for a very long time. They maybe expected the freeze to catch the Giant along with all the units. Just slipped out. That big boy went through the Ice Age a couple times. And he's back. And he can't get out of that freeze.
We need like a mammoth card now, like an elephant that like, then we can really have an Ice Age.
We're gonna get the squirrel with.
What? Oh yeah, now we're done. Now we're
now?
going down the movie. Okay, then we're gonna have a spell called Acorn that just does like 10 damage, just like kills a skeleton. Just throw it out there. Costs 0 elixir.
Yeah,
So,
that's
bam.
gonna be cool. But with that, Ponos take that 2v2.
Yeah, so I'm a little surprised going back to this match that that Talon didn't go back to the Mega Knight well. I thought that worked so well for them in Game 1. And Ponos is a team we've known to be kind of stubborn with, especially in 2v2, with what decks they want to bring because they're confident in their ability to adapt. We've seen them do it time and time again where they lose the first match or the second match and they stick with that same deck and make it work the next time around. So I'm a little surprised that Talon didn't, you know, like I said, go back into that Mega Knight well that worked really well for them in game number 1.
There's surely a lot less Royal Giants happening, but the Giant Double Prince is surely strong. And Talon, they were ready for that Ohm Lightning and the 2-Hog cycle with the freeze. We've seen it work, and it was played once again last weekend in that 2v2 with a few different spells and a little cheaper in cycle for both players. But because they had to kind of sort of play that freeze in a defensive way all the time, the push was gigantic. Ponos, they could see the window open sometimes, and they just pushed really hard through it.
Yeah, and this was good placement with that Ice Spirit to buy them some time. A little bit of a mix-up there by Ponos where they placed the Ice Spirit first instead of the Skeletons. That baited the Snowball and allowed the Skeletons to come down to help finish off that Hog Rider.
Yeah, it was a good
faster.
one, and just having the Skeletons right after the Earthquake, and it was a close prediction coming from Talon, but few spells not really getting its full worth. I think that changed the next set of push to be a little harder to defend because you're lower on those like 1-2 elixirs, and sometimes that can be like one swipe from the Prince or Dark, one charge from Dark Prince, and they do heck a lot of damage.
That they do. All right, let's move on to our 1v1. This is Master Hong going up against Reiki Jones. So let's talk about the bans, I guess, G-Cliff. We got Inferno Dragon and Golem. I mean, I think Golem is banned just because, like you and I have been talking about, we've been seeing it rise in popularity.
Yeah, and Southeast Asia is the region where you see a lot more Golem, and Master Hong has a good amount of history to use Golems, and I think you just want to take that out.
Yeah, you just want to take away his comfort zone. Inferno Dragon, you don't see it super often, but to me, this kind of makes me feel like he's trying to bait Master Hong into an Inferno Tower, and he's going to run something that is good against that, like Hog Rider Earthquake, yeah, or Giant Earthquake. We've seen that before.
Yeah. So for a few days, we've seen some more Inferno Dragons, especially for 2v2, because Inferno Tower stays there and it just dies off. And Earthquake is a big meta right now. But Inferno Dragon, it doesn't get hit by the Earthquake, and it also moves and becomes your own set of attack right after. And there was that slight shift, and I was going to point that out anyhow, but it seems like it's banned. So other than the Golem, Inferno Dragon's also banned. Okay, we'll see some lavas happening here. Still, Giant Double Prince is a strong one. First 1v1 of the day, Reiki Jones from Ponos on top. Master Hong from Talon.
Furnace here.
Is it just back to Royal Giant, though? Like, we say all these stuff, and then Royal Giant comes out with a Lumberjack.
We've been seeing a lot of other Furnace decks, some that
yes,
involve
with
Graveyard,
guards.
but with guards, you start to feel like this is Royal Giant.
But there are some, like,
there's a Prince, but
there
you can
are
have that.
a few big shifts. You basically make the opponent, okay, it's gonna be Battle Ram or something like that that connects with the deck 100%, and then a random card comes out.
Yeah. Okay, this is just a Prince Minor variant of it.
And Pekka Ram from Reiki Jones. And a good pull from that Barbarian. Ooh, Barbaro, but still the minions are working pretty hard.
These minions are gonna get some swipes in. Had to use a snowball there to back it all off.
So there is some elixir difference. Even the Musketeer is pretty unhealthy.
But really the story right now is that top left. That took a bunch of damage. While that action was going on in the bottom right, there was a miner up there swinging away with some help from the fire spirits from the furnace.
Yeah, you were just saying before the cast that the fire spirits actually do a lot of damage, and when they connect, if you just let that furnace, it will always connect one at least.
Yeah, the furnace it's surprising. I mean, 178 damage per fire spirit. So it's pretty scary. Is he going to drop anything to stop these barbs, or is he just going to eat that? He's okay with eating it. He's a little bit ahead right now.
Yeah, want to save elixirs for possibly a stronger push.
That will be the end of those two. Just cycling the barb barrel here. Giant snowball to back that off. A giant snowball of his own once again to cycle elixir as we go into double elixir. Putting that P.E.K.K.A down on the left side. Good guess with that bandit, but it kind of makes sense because where the P.E.K.K.A is, you most likely aren't going to put the miner on the bottom.
And Master Hong does want to catch the small units, but he doesn't really find the room to put. I believe the final one's poison, basically. And it's really hard to actually catch all the units together. Against P.E.K.K.A, against Dark Prince, it's not really the strongest one. And the Batterman can always go past that poison, so that's basically sealed somewhat.
All right, here goes the miner here, right on top of that E-Wiz. So the Prince blocked by the Dark Prince here. So those Fire Spirits get a couple minions there. And this will be the end of that Dark Prince after that Barb Barrel comes through and a few shots from the Princess Tower. Musketeer cleaning up.
The Musketeer also with just little HP left.
The E-Wiz got some damage done onto that bottom right-hand tower again. And jump. See the Fire Spirit connects there.
Into the tower as well.
And that's what I figured. I was about to say there's probably poison sitting at the back end of this.
Yes. He was trying to cycle, but he couldn't really find a good opportunity to put that down. So with that poison, Reiki Jones is going to push because he knows that he's in the lead. But the P.E.K.K.A on the left is also going to connect.
Oh no, this is so bad for Master Hong. Everything is falling apart here. He's going to have to make this miner work, but it's not enough because of the bandit.
And that's game. Reiki Jones, he's pushing hard. The moment that Master Hong used that poison, that's 4 elixirs down, and he didn't really get any. He got some damage, but no real value of that 4 elixirs. Like, he has to get at least some minions or something. No small units like the goblins to delete, so I was thinking that poison sometimes it's just good to not use one card the entire game, because it will. You can try something, but it will actually catch you in a trap. Reiki Jones, knowing that, okay, just use 4 elixirs for basically nothing. I'm going to push right here for a maximum push on left and right together.
And at the end of the day, the problem here, in my opinion, for Master Hong is that he doesn't have great answers for the P.E.K.K.A. He has to utilize a lot of units that he doesn't. You know, he has to overcommit to the P.E.K.K.A. It's like if he has the guards, okay, then they're going to get poisoned or something like that. And then what does he have? He has a Barb Barrel and a Prince isn't going to win against a P.E.K.K.A. and you have a Furnace, which is also not great against P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, usually against the BRAM, you need a secondary option because the attack comes from left and right, and you will be outcycled, so you need not just one card to answer a lot of the attack pattern from your opponent. And that card was deck was pretty hard countered, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one of those weird things where it's fine when you're in single elixir, but once you get the double elixir, then it's just too much for you to deal with. There's just too much beef on that board. And the Battle Ram, again, you don't have a great answer for the Battle Ram either. Furnace is not what you want there against the Battle Ram.
Second game. This Furnace is gonna take this like this.
You know what's interesting about?
Oh,
sorry.
No.
I was gonna say about Master Hong's deck is usually I've seen that deck with a Goblin Hut instead of a Furnace.
Oh yes, it came
and
out
I think that would have been a much better.
Yes, to delay the P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, and the Battle Ram. Because the
Yes.
Goblin Hut, usually by the time the Battle Ram is getting to it, there's a couple goblins out already.
And usually that deck also has a Goblin Gang and also a few more units like that, like the Minion Horde sometimes.
Yeah, or you might. Sometimes it has like skeletons in there as well, but usually, yeah, you're right. You'll see kind of some other cheap multi-unit thing. Well, it's not looking too different here for Reiki Jones, except there's a Dark Prince there, but that was no, there was a Dark Prince last time, wasn't there? In his Battle Ram deck, right?
I think it was just the Prince, not the Dark Prince.
Well, on Reiki Jones.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes, because it was Prince on Master Hong. Okay, yeah. But this time Master Hong is Dark Prince.
Minions. 1, 2, 3,
Wham. Wham.
4.
That's
Jab, jab, jab.
jab, jab, jab. Yeah, they're sneaky. They're sneaky.
Oh, eventually jabs are going to drain you out. That's what jabs are for.
That's Manny Pacquiao's strategy. And what's the other? I don't remember the other boxer's name.
I don't. G-Cliff.
You're not a boxer. Get out of here.
How'd you know?
Well, let's just say I've known you for a while, and I've never seen you be even a little bit violent.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. All right, right here, right now. Okay, so just kind of cycling through stuff here. Oh, is this Dark Prince just not able to get through? But the Ewiz beams do cross, and the Ewiz, he's allowed to cross the streams.
The Master Hong bringing some difference here, something different. The Ram Rider, good. Pull away.
Oh, gets a hit.
Yeah, not perfect because the Bandit's supposed to attach and connect a few shots, but the Snare was keeping her away from that melee attack.
Yep, Dark Prince dropped to take out that Bandit. The P.E.K.K.A. here. So Reiki Jones opting to try to make his deck work 2 times in a row, and the P.E.K.K.A. here from Master Hong. This is just, the change-up is basically just the fact that you're using Ram Rider instead of Battle Ram.
Yep, Bar Barrel thrown down because that Dark Prince was going to do damage to the P.E.K.K.A. and the tower together, if not.
Yep. Baby Dragon here to try to help out. Chip through.
Placement to the left, just making the opponent getting less poison value, and these are always stacking the placements.
And you also don't get the cross beams from the Ewiz. So it's 2 reasons. All right, here we go. Bandit, boom, gets stopped. Bam, you go down. Now the P.E.K.K.A. he does not jab. Those are uppercuts.
Ooh, Musketeer on the left, but the Battle Ram plus the Bandit Dark Prince all the way onto the right.
Oh, it's gonna get through.
Charges.
Charge damage is in, and now
Bandit
they're both on there.
With the Barbarians.
And up top, that P.E.K.K.A. is not going to get through. Great defense here by Reiki Jones. And this is just too much. This is another big push, and he's got to drop the P.E.K.K.A. The Battle Ram does he get his charge damage in there?
Yes,
it
went in.
It did.
Because of only one swipe from P.E.K.K.A. and the Princess was locked onto something else. So Reiki Jones, he can always switch from left and right and then try to win this game. Master Hong is indeed in trouble. Okay, did get it after the dash. The Bandit did go away from the lightning.
That's good lightning.
That almost just went through without hitting the Bandit. That could have been a lot worse.
But now he's got this problem where he's got 2 lanes to defend. Here comes that. Oh, just in time. The charge damage not get through.
Barbarian is locked on it, though.
Oh, no.
3.
Does he have anything else?
And the other Barbarian connects to it, too. That's enough damage. Protoss takes their 2v2 and 1v1. Are they going back to their old form? Their strongest. It's been some time because they have been failing on that 1v1 a lot.
Yeah, it's 1v1 has actually been where they're struggling. I mean, Mikanbuya is 0-2 in his 1v1s for them, and Rad was 1-1, Koto won his one, and now Raiki Jones has won it. They were also struggling a little bit.
Yeah, they were going to a lot of King of the Hills, but before last year, they were basically running down the opponent, lots of 2-0s, and from that power mode, I think it's not that Pono's powered down, it's a lot of teams just got a lot better. I think that's what we have in the league.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, the level of play this year has gotten so much higher. The versatility of the types of decks that these players can bring to the table has increased exponentially this season.
Yes.
And it's really exciting. It's making Clash Royale esports like really fun to watch and really fun to be a part of.
Master Thong, he thought he could do it against the Battle P.E.K.K.A. Ram deck once again, but Raiki Jones just out-cycling him. That was really powerful and good to watch again, and reason why it's keep on being played by a lot of players. That's it for the first match. Pono's taking the first match against Talon. Next match coming up, Ran Esports versus Kingzone Dragon X. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back wherever you are in space, the moon, the sun, online. Start chatting, writing comments for your favorite team because this matchup is pretty wild and I can't select one team.
The sun? The other places are at least, well, not believable, but, you know, realistic. The sun. Anyway, no, you're right. This is going to be a lot of fun, G-Clef. This is probably, I think,
oh man,
our big matchup of the day, maybe. Bren Esports, 4-1. They're looking very strong. Trainer Ken, Toby Spirit Hawk, Noam Sai, Manong GP, and Jai. They've been very, very good this season. They're very well-rounded. Again, they play good 2v2. They win the majority of their 2v2s. They play good 1v1s. They're decent. They've only even gone to King of the Hill one time, and then they won it.
Yes, they have a lot of pretty cool history and a lot of 2v2 wins to start off. And because of that, when they just had 1v1 win, no King of the Hill. Not too many King of the Hill. In fact, only single time against Sandbox. And that's it. Either they lost 2-0, and the other 3 times they won 2-0, basically. Because their foundation of 2v2 is so strong, they have so much percentage of just taking the match here.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, they've been doing it on the back of Jai, who's 3-0 in his 1v1s. A guy we haven't been talking about much, who we should maybe be talking about more. But let's take a look at Kingzone quick. Kingzone Alpha, July, Nuri, and TrueFast are, what have we been calling them? Mercenaries from the other regions?
Out of the region
players. I liked your word mercenary, though. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, maybe it's a little aggressive, but...
Yeah, it can be used. Korean casters are all actually calling the players mercenaries. But out of the region players, according to the rulebook, you can have up to 2 players, I believe. And most of the time, they have one like Legend, but mostly for that 1v1. Sometimes the communication, especially for the Korean team, you have been saying in the interview, which is also up in our YouTube channel, and saying that language barrier has been somewhat of an issue, but they're trying to resolve still. But if you're playing a 1v1, that's not really required too much.
Yeah. And that's where we've seen most of them.
Oh, that's why TrueFast coming out for 1v1 and Toby. Okay, that's a cool matchup, I would say.
Oh, this is interesting. We've got Jai going up in the 2v2. He's done it one other time.
Yeah, and too many times last year, too.
Yeah.
So they have no problem with that duo, I think.
Yeah, this is fine. And, I mean, they lost, but they lost a game with who is a very strong 2v2 team as well when Jai and Noam Sai this season played. But now, I think they've got a pretty good chance here. July and Nuri, they have played together 3 times, and they are 2-1, so they played pretty well.
Yep. And Nuri is basically stuck on that 2v2 with July, oftentimes, and they're the ones playing 2v2s, but also with the better result in King of the Hill. That's kind of surprising, having really good result in King of the Hill, but not actually playing in that 1v1 set at all.
Yeah, when I look at this on paper, when I look at Kingzone Dragon X, I think Nuri's kind of your all-star in a way, even though he's not playing the 1v1 sets. Look, he's doing really well in 2v2. When he's partnered with, especially when he's partnered with July, it has gone well with Alpha. But in the King of the Hill, being 6-3 in King of the Hill games, is pretty darn good.
Yeah, King of the Hill, of course, it's very different in terms of how you choose to deck and what you do. In game, it's same, but the preparation before that match is actually really different. So I think that's what makes the difference. But let's focus on that 2v2. Noam Sai, Jai, the duo from last year mostly. See the results. The zeros in the middle, and King of the Hill.
Yeah, these guys are 2v2 specialists, and they've been okay. Together, they've been good. And they've decided to ban the Royal Giant here. So
yeah, they were using a lot of lava, as you can see on that most played card. But with that tornado ban, they can still continue to use that lava. And we've seen Clone yesterday, but Clone was actually used a lot in 2v2, not 1v1s.
Right.
Especially with lava or golems.
Right. Usually you'll see something wacky like Lava Hound and a giant skeleton or something, and then you're like, okay, Clone. Like, and then there's like a Night Witch behind it, and you're like, okay, this is Clone. Like, well, let's get it started. Our first 2v2 set between these two, and the first game as well. Bren Esports versus Kingzone Dragon X.
On top with July Nuri. Bottom No Aim Sai. Jai. RG. With RG being banned, a lot less direct pressure, I would say, of what we saw with Giant Skeleton. Oh,
Yep.
you guessed it. We all guessed it.
We all felt it. Felt it in our bones. And those guards felt it in their bones, but one of them lives.
But with Rage, what is Brand Esports hiding? What are they trying to do with that Rage from the Lumberjack?
Prince here.
Good prediction.
Really good.
Right on top.
I mean, you never know. Prince could be a lot of things. Could be Golem.
Certainly true. And the most common one are the Giants, but you're right. Here it comes.
Wow, that Lumberjack thought about changing targets there.
Yeah, I was thinking about, yeah, he was actually looking around for a second. Like, do I go for the tower or the Dark Prince?
He's already
Prince.
drinking out of that barrel, man. Like, you're not.
Yeah, he drank too much elixirs.
All right, the pups have split here. They're getting a little bit of damage down there in the bottom right with that offensive poison as well.
Bomb tower against the Golem is so good.
It's really good. You get the death damage there.
If Kingzone has a secondary bomb tower, that's insane. Because Brand Esports, of course, having two golems, that can be troublesome. Okay, so one of the golems locked in, and the second one's Inferno Tower.
Yep.
What spells are going to connect from Brand Esports? Earthquake,
lightning.
poisons,
Lightning.
very nice.
Yep. So that's great against Inferno Tower. Now you got
Golem got the death damage into the tower. Nicely done.
Snowball missed the Golem though a little bit. I'm not sure if that was quite what they wanted to do. That huge radius there, and that's a lot of damage done.
Got the baby dragon. Slow onto the baby dragon. So I think they were trying to catch everything together.
Yes. And
A little too greedy there.
Yeah. All right, another push.
Yep.
Inferno Tower right at the bridge with double lava, and there's an earthquake coming down though here as well.
And the offensive poison from Brand Esports to get that bomb tower down. Golem marching towards that tower, got that death damage inside.
Okay, they have an answer for this second Lava Hound that's coming in. The Miner trying to tank up for this, but the Prince counters it as well.
Okay.
The offensive poison down here. The pups have split. Snowball comes down, helps deal with a lot of those. And now this Prince is going to distract for a long time.
Wow, the Prince getting the miner plus, okay, that was not enough. Still the baby dragon survived, chipping some damage, but the Prince defending the miner plus taking the shots from the pubs and all the air units. That was actually well used.
If Brand Esports can get a decent push going here and get the lightning down, they can be the first ones.
Yeah, 900s overtime. Single tower wins the game. 2 lavas, no Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon only.
Yep, there's that lightning.
Yeah,
now
lava is slow, so Brand Esports going to go with that rage.
One more spell. One more spell. It's so
left.
close. Oh, there's the lava.
In terms of the speed, I think Brand, the reason why they were still pretty calm on camera when there was that rush is because they knew, okay, Lava Hound, double that Lava Hound. Okay, what is it gonna do? Like 100-something damage per second. I got my Golem push. And as long as the lightning hits the tower along with that damage, with the Golem death damage, it seemed like they knew that they were going to win with that rage, the speed boost. That's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, exactly. That's the luxury you have with Lava Hound, is that if you leave it in its Lava Hound form, its damage isn't all that significant. You can just kind of watch it do stuff, and then you're like, all right, cool, you have a Lava Hound over there, I'll do some stuff on the other side, wait for my E-Wiz or a Snowball or something to come up, or a Fireball, and when it splits into pups, then I can finish it off.
Yeah, all the units that were supposed to follow the Lava Hound, they were stuck with Golems and all the ones following behind. Right after this, I think we're gonna see that race. Here we go. 2 lavas in the bottom, but other units are pretty much stuck on top. Lightning taking out the tombstone, the bomb tower.
and then, yeah, it's like I said, it's that lightning that gives them a little bit of a speed advantage as well because of the extra damage that it does to the Princess Tower. So good timing there, good setup, excellent execution by Brand Esports. What will the response be from Kingzone Dragon X?
Yeah, most of the time we're 2v2, and at least with some building card, most of the teams are already at least 1 or 2, like Inferno Tower, Bomb Tower, some tombstones, and so on, Teslas, blah blah. And the spells that connect to it, like the Earthquake, Lightning, the timing, how both teams are using it. That's the crucial part about 2v2, how you can actually break through that first line of defense and then let your unit go directly to the tower. And if you can do that better, that usually has been Brand Esports, and the teamwork really shows in the middle of the game like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the fun part about 2v2 is trying to predict how your opponents are going to defend. What kind of structures are they even going to use structures? Most of the time, yes. Sometimes, no. We find that if they don't use structures, it can cause problems because you need the ability to kite units around and to buy yourself time, to get your pushes set up and also to, get your defense organized properly. So then it comes down to your spell usage, right? And this is what kind of has been the story of this season, is which team is kind of able to maneuver their opponents with their spells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first it was tech choice, second one, once you get into the game, you can't change it. You just gotta make it work. And Kingston called for a timeout. Let's see if anything changed on their 2v2.
Well, no Royal Giant, that makes me a little sad, but that's okay. All right, looks like Bren, they're liking what they were doing.
Uh-huh.
Miner up in the top left corner.
Yep. I wish we see a lot more golems. And Giants, of course, are strong, but the real golem push when the tornado is banned is the strongest one.
Right. Ooh. Defensive lightning being used here, and an offensive lightning by both teams. So this is actually going to be a pretty significant amount of damage here.
What's happening to the weather, man? So many lightnings happening all over.
Well, it was raining in Seoul today, so
yeah,
maybe that had
this
something to do
legendary arena is crazy. The snowballs being thrown all the time.
We have some inclement weather in Clash Royale.
And a similar deck from Brand Esports so far. And also Kings and Dragon X.
It is an open air arena. You can see a star up there in the top left. So, the spells can come through.
That's true. Inferno Dragon, once again locked onto the lava. Will they actually follow it up with some spells? But the Mimi P.E.K.K.A, that's a change.
Yep, that's a great change. I think a really effective unit against things like Golem, Giant, really tears through them. It goes down here.
Yeah, right after the bomb tower, another set of Golem push.
Look at this. This Inferno Dragon's already locked on to this Lava Hound. So this Lava Hound's going to break before it even gets to the river.
How long did that Inferno Dragon survive? I think for a very long time. It got the first Lava Hound plus all that units.
Yeah, it had either I can't remember if it was a Mega Minion or a Baby Dragon taken in front of it, and just was able to just obliterate those Lava Hounds.
Yeah, some follow-up connection damage from the Golem. Brand Esports taking the lead by about 500.
Didn't want to take any damage from that Ice Spirit, so they zap it right away. Looking to set up another Golem push here and a Lava Hound push. Let's see which one of these teams can make this one work this time around. A poison right out the gate. They don't want that E-Wiz anywhere near any of this.
Yep, because they want to have that reset onto the Inferno Tower, have that set up. Bomb Tower is there instead of that Inferno Tower. Well played by Kingzone.
No lightning this time here from Brand Esports. They weren't able to get it.
Yep, from Brand, because they used the E-Wizard already. They want to save that lightning for that Inferno Tower later on. So they have two options to actually stop that. I think that's exactly what we're seeing on the other side, Inferno Tower or the Inferno Dragon. That's why Kingzone also brought the Zap this time.
But this Inferno Dragon is getting a lot of value here for Brand Esports.
Right.
It is just tearing through these Lava Hounds before they're even getting close to any of the defensive
death
structures.
Damage and
no.
the punch from the regular Golem.
And the poison, and they're raged up. They are not happy. I think it's just going to be a lightning after this. That should be able to do it.
Lightning plus some more damage.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Plus any kind of spell. Any poison tick, snowball should finish it.
Yep, they're just waiting to cycle into it, making sure they can defend properly here. Arrows!
This is the first time we see arrows.
I haven't seen that.
Maybe the second time.
I think all season? Maybe the second time. We don't see it much.
I think Brand Esports, they want to have perfect defense first and then have that spell ready.
Yep, there it is.
Clean. Say well executed, not just that. Just clean teamwork coming out from Brand Esports. Every single time I watch them play, especially on their 2v2, really well timed. They can keep calm because they have been doing this forever basically. And 2v2 is, I would say, from the entire League of Asia here, the strongest 2v2 team is Brand Esports.
Yeah, and they're maybe the strongest team in the league this year. They're playing so well top to bottom that it's just they're getting really scary. Them in game with, man, they are just looking so good.
It sounds like I lost energy, but I'm just purely impressed of what they can do in 2v2.
You're in awe.
Yeah, I'm in space.
Rest in peace, G-Cliff. Your David Bowie's gonna write a song about you. Did you get that reference?
Lost in space.
No. If there's a song,
Such a
by
weirdo
David.
sometimes.
I know. I am really strange.
Yeah, sometimes the earthquake spell doesn't really do too much. But they were chipping some damage and taking down the Inferno Tower from King's side, so it was mostly worth it. But what Brand was always able to do was that they were keeping calm, make sure at least they saved one of the mini stuns from either Lightning or E-Wizard, so that the Golem marches on. So even though it didn't really live too long, sometimes connecting the punch, but always, most of the time, connecting the death damage at least.
Yeah, I thought maybe a Mega Minion would get a swipe in here, but that was a really good snowball, and then a Lava Hound placed in front of it to buy them as much time as they could, but in the end it was futile. Brand Esports takes that game 2-0 against King's Own Dragon X. Now we move on to the 1v1, and we get to see, for the first time in a while, you get to see Toby Spirithawk.
Toby.
We've seen him twice, but it feels like a while because Jai has been just on a tear.
Last time I believe when they had the match.
Yeah, he's really, really good, actually. I mean, he's looked pretty strong.
And the key point is both of the players are actually, they do bring the meta deck with some non-meta cards, so there is a twist in the deck choice usually. And TrueFast does a lot more compared to Toby so far. So I will be looking into those spell changes sometimes.
Well, and their bans are pretty meta ban, right? Just get rid of Minor because, well, there's so many Minor decks that are just so strong. And then you're getting rid of guards, which is, you know,
in a lot of RG decks.
Right.
A lot of decks against the guards are really good against the battle rams also. If you just place it right in the middle, it stops the battle ram from charging into the tower.
Good against
also
the
good
regular
against
Prince.
the barbarians right after.
Yeah. Good against the regular Prince.
Yeah, good against P.E.K.K.A.
Yep.
And those were kind of the reason why we saw the shift from P.E.K.K.A. to the Mega Knight instead, because of all those small units that take single target damage, basically wasting all the time from shields and the skeletons basically.
All right. Well, looks like we're ready. Let's see what they got for us, Clef.
Let's see. Toby Spirithawk from Brand. TrueFast from King's Own Dragon X.
Good luck. Now that we have so many more emotes as well, it makes me so happy because the beginning of the game we can see their emote meta.
I can't even keep track of all the emotes now. There's too many.
There's so many.
There's too many, and I love it so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite new additions.
Yeah, I used to just have everything and then say, oh, you have that? I have that too. But there's so many now, I can't do that anymore.
I know. All right.
Cool emotes.
E-Wiz stops the charge, stops the Dark Prince. There's a Prince.
Yeah, seems like it may just be the giant double Prince.
Yeah.
And the skeletons. And even without the guards, having Lumberjack can actually be the real good solution. Ooh,
whoa!
Except for that guard.
And this is Graveyard underneath this. Now there is a Baby Dragon and a Mega Minion doing their best to defend this. An okay amount of damage comes through, but it's okay. Actually, remember I was talking about this. I saw this on the Grand Challenges. I saw people playing this Double Prince Graveyard.
There are a few more graveyards just coming out even without the Tombstone. And sometimes along with the Tornado, sometimes not with the Tornado. And that's actually not where you want to place right in front of that Dark Prince.
Yeah, ooh. Ouch. Oh, bueno there. But the Dark Prince does go down. Now you've got a problem on the bottom right where you've got a single Barbarian
Lots
to
of skeletons
defend.
at the bottom.
Oh, no.
And the Prince.
He's just sacking it. I can tell he just...
Really pushing down on the opponent's mistake. And knowing that timing, off to the other side.
Well, this feels like a golem deck from Toby. Or a Royal Giant. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes,
yeah,
with the furnace.
Yes. I was thinking he was waiting for so long.
And Zappies.
Zappies. So this is that what I was talking about. I saw this on the Grand Challenge. And this is so much to deal with.
Poison is the perfect response. Fares well. With the graveyard pinks. Lots of slows on that RG, but with that rage, connecting 2, that's it.
Yeah, that's just not quite enough here.
25 seconds.
Yeah, there's only 25 seconds. This one is about all she wrote. Toby had to be able to play defense there.
Can get some rage, but against the double Prince and those mini stuns from the Zappies, yeah, Royal Giant cannot actually directly do thousands of damage. There's that ceremony. Yes, the Royal Giant went into the graveyard. And that's it with a single mistake like that. And this is the level. If you make that big of a mistake, and the game can actually be over right after.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of those things where, especially with the Princes, it's so scary. In a graveyard, you have to have really good defense against.
Yeah, you gotta have some baby dragons. They're pretty okay because they do area damage.
Right, or your Lumberjack.
Oh yeah, Lumberjack's really good. Lumberjack is a really good solution. You can defend against the skeletons and then connect it with your Royal Giant push.
Yeah, but this is a problem because your E-Wiz gets evaporated by the Prince, and then here comes the Prince who gets some massive damage along with the skeletons done. While the Prince is tanking all that, by the way, all that damage.
Yeah, and Toby didn't really have any other units to throw, and you can throw a later bar barrel to delete more skeletons, but there was a Prince coming towards the tower, so he really had no other chance to just throw it early.
Yeah.
So it was going to do a lot of damage regardless. Yeah, following from that mistake, just a little unfortunate there, but of course, TrueFast just pushing down opponent's blood there.
All right, well, let's see how Toby wants to adjust to this. TrueFast taking that first game, and we've got a timeout here for Bren Esports. Well, I mean, I definitely get the guard ban for sure.
Yeah, usually you can just have the guard, but instead you can just switch it out with the Lumberjack, have that plus.
Right.
And it's not a bad one. There are lots of variations with the Royal Giant since it's the meta.
Right. And then, yeah, because, like, the guards are really good against Graveyard, right? They're good against the Prince. Not as good against the Dark Prince, but if you place them right, it's not bad.
And sometimes you can just bring the Barbarians instead. Even the Goblin Hut, as you mentioned, it does come out from time to time, forcing them to actually draw out a poison or a fireball for the Hut or the Barbarians and making sure you have your own push without a spell. So basically another spell bait by using those cards. So there are lots of these counters after counters connecting to each other.
Yeah, well, let's see what we're going to get for game number 2 here. The time is up for the timeout, so these two teams going to have to get it on.
Yes, Bren Esports, they went to the King of the Hill just once. And that result was a win last time. Let's see if Kings on Dragon X TrueFast brings this into a 2-0 and then moves on to the King of the Hill. Yeah, those kind of mistakes can actually affect the player. It can tilt you to make another mistake, so you gotta grab yourself.
You know, I was looking at TrueFast's record here. He's played 3 in the 1v1s he's played 3 of the best in our league. He's played Benzer, Legend, and Jack. He beat Benzer and Legend, lost to Jack.
And oftentimes he brought some non-meta cards inside that, and that really made a big shift in the game. The moment you think, oh, you know the deck of your opponent, oh, guess what? You will find some surprise when you're going against TrueFast. And sometimes not, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this one looks to be a little more standard here from TrueFast. Yeah, Ram Rider, probably either a P.E.K.K.A or a Mega Knight on the back end of all that. But we'll see. He's known to...
Oh, got that charge into the tower. Toby's not really too happy about that. And it's ready to... Yeah, he low on elixir to actually drop another one.
Ooh, but this might have to... Does he have a spell here to deal with this? That Mega Knight? Or Mega Minion. Not the Mega Knight. That's the Mega Minion. Gets a swipe in there. So Royal Giant again for Toby?
That's what everyone is guessing at the moment.
There's that Fire Spirit. Man, those things do sneaky damage. We don't usually see just the Fire Spirit spell, though.
I think Too Fast is holding a P.E.K.K.A. That's why he's waiting for that Royal Giant to just come across, so that he can just chop that down easily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, both
can even
players
wait.
just knowing each other's card, basically.
And even if you have the Mega Knight back there, you're going to wait until the Royal Giant gets to the bridge. And
there was some weird decks where you just have a Giant instead of the Royal Giant. And even if that happens, P.E.K.K.A. is a perfect solution against it.
Right.
And
Either way.
And a charge on the left, though. That's going to be somewhat of a hit on the left.
Oof. That's a very good bandit placement to get that charge onto that E-Wiz, because it allows your P.E.K.K.A. to get through that Royal Giant faster. But a decent amount of damage done on that push by Toby Spirit Hawk.
Yep, and you saw it from the Barbarians and the Lumberjack connecting into the left one. But what matters is the right side of the map here.
Yep. E-Wiz and a Lumberjack are going to do quick work of that Ram Rider. And now they're going to be on the push with a Baby Dragon joining in as well. Immediately the P.E.K.K.A. plays down to soak up all this damage.
I think Too Fast was expecting the Royal Giant to come out with that rage potion from the Lumberjack placement, basically.
And I think that's a good idea to drop that Baby Dragon there, because you basically force out the P.E.K.K.A. And now you have an opportunity to get your Royal Giant down here, but he's actually too low on Elixir, so he's not going to be able to do it.
Yep, and Too Fast ready for a lot of different possibilities from Toby. Always making sure Toby's using enough Elixirs to not drop that Royal Giant.
Right, exactly. He's having to spend a lot of Elixir defending the Ram Rider. You know, he's using a Lumberjack and an E-Wiz. At, you know, that time it was just an E-Wiz, but that's a lot of Elixir to drop down. Well,
ooh, nicely done getting that Bar Barrel onto the right side so the dash doesn't connect into the Fire Spirit, but possibly directly into the tower. Was blocked by the Lumberjack from Toby.
Yeah, Too Fast setting up his Ram Rider in the back there to snare that Lumberjack. Now the P.E.K.K.A. coming down immediately. E-Wiz here followed up. Now comes the Bar Barrel, of course, to help deal with that E-Wiz, but you get one shot off.
But the minion and one another unit did actually some damage on the bottom left. It's actually lower than the bottom right.
Dash damage. Oh.
Plus few more.
Oh. Just in time.
P.E.K.K.A.'s not close, but Too Fast can go for left and right. And there's that Ram Rider. How to defend perfectly against that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so just cycling through E-Wizes here. They're going to meet there. Oh, he throws down the Lumberjack there in front of it. And there's that Royal Giant to follow it up.
That's the timing. Against the opponent used the poison already.
Oh, and that Barbarian Barrel just...
With rage!
Yes, with rage, it gets another shot.
One more, that's game! And Toby takes the game away from Too Fast. We're tied 1-1.
Even with that P.E.K.K.A. it locked onto the Royal Giant. Toby threw the Barbarian Barrel down to try to get the P.E.K.K.A. to be distracted. But with the E-Wiz as well, that's just slowing down that P.E.K.K.A. so much.
Yeah, Too Fast rushed in that final moment. He should have held that poison for later possibilities, maybe to finish the tower or just to do some more chip damage until the time runs out. But the moment the poison was dropped, Toby was saying, okay, that's 4 Elixir gone. I have the chance here with my Lumberjack set up perfectly. And it's going to be a lot healthier because he just used a lot of Elixirs. P.E.K.K.A. can't be dropped right away. And P.E.K.K.A. will be the only one, not the E-Wizard, connecting together.
There's another way you can kind of...
This moment.
Yeah, this one right here. See, the Barbarian Barrel, even though the P.E.K.K.A. locks on, even though he wants it, it does take a swing at the Barbarian.
Yes,
so that is really good Barbarian Barrel placement. I thought it missed the first swing, then the second swing it came in because of the E-Wiz stun.
Yes, the guard, I mean not the guard, the Giant had its buddy on the left and the right in case the P.E.K.K.A. comes from the right side again. So good prediction, Toby had everything planned out for his final attack.
Is he just going to do the same thing three times in a row?
No, dude, double of these players, they have the same cards, but they make different cycles and different plays out of it. It's wild and amazing to see all the time, and those kind of small changes will bring you the win. Is it going to be the same again once again in Game 3? Game is ready. Toby versus Too Fast. Too Fast versus Toby Spirit Hawk.
It's match point here for King Zone Dragon X.
That's right.
True Fast loses. That's it. We move on. Mega Minion coming in, and the Zappies. Okay, are we going to see that Graveyard double Prince deck, or are we going to see some other Royal Hogs creation? And oh, yes.
Sparky!
Yes! Woohoo!
You're so happy.
I
True
know.
Fast gave him the look. But
I mean,
against the Zappies, are you fine with that? Not really.
Not
yes.
really.
Oh, it means not really. I can translate that.
Not
in my
really,
own words.
because this is what happens. You can now. It's not a big deal this time because actually the skeletons, you know, they're nice to defend here, and this should actually be okay.
When they split and go against the Sparky, when they start zapping, that's crazy. But this
is not okay. Oh, okay, yeah. And this is what you can do with the Zappies. Although that great Mega Minion placement, though.
Even after that,
that's gonna be a shot.
it slows down.
It's gonna be a shot.
Still, it locked onto the tower before.
So, Zappies. What's worse is Electro Wizard is worse. Electro Wizard is worse. Zappies are kind of annoying.
Electro Dragon's pretty bad too.
Yes, but because you have stuff like the Lumberjack, which is really fast, and the Mega Minion to go behind the Sparky here, you can actually kind of get the Zappies distracted or get him killed fast enough that your Sparky is able to charge up again and get
or make it just shoot at some really low target like the skeletons.
Yeah,
if
Graveyard
that was away from a Zappy, that could have been a different story.
And this is great. This is great thinking here. As soon as that Graveyard came down, he's like Lumberjack. Lumberjack's going to mow through all these skeletons inside of this Graveyard and buy my Sparky all the time it needs.
Yeah, the speed is never the same here as another Prince goes in for the tower.
Whoa. A lot of damage coming down there. That poor Lumberjack got stuck behind the Sparky. Oh, couldn't get to that skeleton.
Yeah, another shot into the King Tower could have been even worse.
But this is fine. I mean, right now, True Fast hasn't shown that he has an answer for the Sparky. Because if the Sparky gets one shot off, it's a victory.
Was going to be, and even that giant goblin really having its time just pushing through against double Prince can be painful.
That was good, though. That was a good push. Now, if he can cycle into...
So thinking about the second trophy here, Sparky's still pretty strong. Graveyard loses his power because of that King Tower activated, though.
Correct.
So maybe True Fast will be looking for that some pocket strategy, which looks a little worse.
Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. He drops that Prince right there. I mean, obviously it was to get to the Musketeer.
But it seems like a good idea at first.
Okay.
But once it doesn't really connect too much damage.
Right, yep. Not much being done there. So here, yeah, you can go the Sparky on the right side. You don't really need it on the left side since it's not going to be useful against the Graveyard anyway. So there's no reason not to. I mean, yeah, it can be dropped on by maybe like you drop some skeletons on it or something like that. And then he's going to try the Graveyard thing again. That is one dead Dark Prince. And then you get the Bar Barrel to clean out some of the skeletons in front of it. Lumberjack would be preferable in this situation, but he didn't quite have it available.
Still the Goblin Giant doing some damage, so not too bad.
And that's why Zappies aren't that big of a deal compared to some of the others. They can be if they're placed
making
right.
sure the Prince is last on two, the Lumberjack! Pocket Lumberjack by Toby at that second. Victory.
Woo! In style.
And Brand Esports, wait, the match is over. Brand Esports won again and again and again and again in 2v2. Following up with that 1v1, that's another 2-0 record for them.
They're looking so strong. I mean, they have one loss, and that's it. And I think that was a 2-0. And everything else has been 2-0s except for one King of the Hill. I mean, that's crazy. They are playing out of this world right now.
And they have a humongous number of fans all the time. And no wonder they like this team so much because they have a style of strong 2v2, strong individual players with pocket strategies like that. It was a rough one for True Fast. I mean, after getting the second tower with that Graveyard, it was a tough mission.
Yeah.
But Toby making it look easy like that pocket Lumberjack. We didn't know that was just going to come down like that.
Yeah, it was just a really difficult thing for him to deal with that Sparky. But that was really fun.
Another 2-0. Are we going to have a day with 3 2-0s? That has never been done in Clash Royale League Asia. This time, We'll be back with the third match, Sandbox Gaming versus OG and Entus. Welcome back, everyone. We are ready for that match number 3. A little faster than the other days. A little quicker today. But Sandbox Gaming, OG and Entus, both teams, I believe, they are really, really looking for a win today.
Yeah, this is a huge moment for both of these teams. I mean, Sandbox, they're 1-4. They're at the very bottom of the standings for Clash Royale League Asia. And OG and Entus at a precarious 2-3. So this is a very, very important match. I think Sandbox, this is starting to get down to do or die time for them. Being 1-5, you know, with only a few more weeks to go. Well, we're not quite halfway, or are we halfway? We're like close. We're somewhere near halfway.
Somewhere near halfway. We're in phase 2. It should be, yes. Sandbox Gaming, 4-man roster, what you see on screen. Some switches, not too many, coming down for them on their 2v2. And Sado has been had some strong moments in their 1v1, so I think that's really the key here, as their 1v1 is switching from Greed, Sado. They're having some really good days or really bad days, so selecting between the two can be an issue.
Yeah, their 2v2s have been a real problem for Sandbox. Over on OGN Entus, they've had some success in 2v2s, but for the most part, it's been a bit of a struggle for them as well. They're 2-3 overall.
What's key is that they had lots of 2-0s. Either it's a win or a loss. Just one single King of the Hill against King Zone, but that's it. And they also suffered a lot because of their 2v2. So both teams having somewhat a similar struggle in the match here because they're 2v2. There weren't like crazy spell mistakes in the middle, but it just seemed like the communication wasn't as good as the other teams oftentimes.
Yeah, they were
and because the deck selection has been really about the same for most of the teams.
All right, well, here's what we got going on here for the 2v2. It'll be Shinju and Greed versus Thunder and TNT. Sato versus Victor in the 1v1. And then 8-0-1 crown available for the King of the Hill if we get to that. The Royal Giant being banned once again, so same bans as we saw in our last 2v2.
And Tornado.
Yep.
So
I just assume Tornado is banned. Like at this point,
you don't even talk
about it. I just
you don't even talk about that flying pig right next to that Tornado. That's always a painful moment.
You just hope it's the Hog Rider's pig. That's all you hope.
And also, Inferno Tower ban that can call out for Inferno Dragon sometimes.
Yeah.
But oftentimes just replaced with some other buildings that's less of a cost. A lot more tombstones these days. Sometimes a Tesla if you are really willing to use some expos.
Well, to me, I mean, if I was playing competitive Clash Royale just because of the way I am, I would ban Inferno Tower because I want to play Royal Giant.
That's a good way. Always a solid way. But I would bring Barbarians against you all the time with the snowball slow, and that's actually a perfect defense most of the time.
And Barbarians are really annoying against Royal Giant.
They become a next set of way for you to attack, or when you're trying to defend against the Barbarians, because the Royal Giant will just melt by doing nothing basically. If I put something on the other side, you are in trouble basically.
Yeah, but if you bring the Royal Giant deck that has the Fireball in it, then it's like you can kind of like predict that, okay, if they're going to bring Barbarians, then I'm going to bring the Fireball variant.
But we haven't really been seeing Fireball too many times, especially in 1v1. Lots of poison, a lot of earthquakes, and the small ones zap. Snowballs, of course. Not much of Fireballs, actually.
No, we don't see too many Fireballs. There's only a few decks that really tend to use it, and they're kind of few and far between. There's a Royal Giant Barbarians Furnace version that does it. There's a Royal Hogs P.E.K.K.A deck that I've seen that does it.
Some Hog cycles with the cannon.
Yep.
I think you're really trying to chip the damage and win over time. That's what you're looking for. Let's see what the decks are for these teams. First 2v2, Sandbox Gaming in blue at the bottom, Shinju Greed. OG and Entus in red on top. Thunder and TNT. TNT has been a really strong player in 1v1. I think they moved him up in 2v2 because they need to start winning that 2v2 first.
Right. Ooh, Lumberjack and a Hog Rider. Snowball coming in.
Snowball pushes the Lumberjack inside the tower.
Ooh, but
and
a freeze!
Freeze already.
Oh, they've got Elixir here.
It's going to be 4 at least.
What are Shinju and Greed doing? They don't need to let it do that much damage.
small units being dropped, but deleted with a beautiful zap.
Oh, are there any buildings here? Now, okay, there's nothing left here.
And the freeze in response. If you got one, we got one. Better for you.
Now I understand it. Now I completely understand why they were waiting to take that damage.
Uh-huh.
Now it all... Because they brought a freeze of their own, and it worked out better.
And nice set of combinations, having Rage, Lightning, Zap to delete everything and freeze in their starting hand, or close to it. Somewhat lucky for Sandbox to reach that level.
Yeah, this is a nice twist on the Double Prince Giant here, using that freeze very effectively. There's that Inferno Tower. See if they want to spell it down. I don't think they're going to...
Oh, Ewiz in the pocket to stop it. And the Dark Prince.
But that Ewiz is really slowing up that Giant. The Dark Prince goes and thinks about hitting the King Tower, but doesn't quite get there.
And the speed comes out from the Ice Golem with that Hog pushing. I believe that freeze is available.
Yep, they're going to freeze again. What?
Defensive freeze.
Ah, defensive freeze. I was like, why did that freeze that Prince?
Look at the units that freeze. That doesn't move.
I'm so used to being like, all right, well, that's got to be an offensive freeze. But nope. That makes sense.
I think OG and Entus, they were thinking about it, but it wasn't as strong, I would say.
Well, now that Sandbox is ahead in Princess Towers, they don't have to use their freeze offensively anymore. They can use it defensively all the time.
OGN is really looking for a single freeze that can actually get the entire tower. I think that's what they're looking for. When the lightning's down, that's a lot of elixirs already. Can have a freeze angle, great freeze, and some slow from that snowball.
But this time, they don't have their own freeze available. It only gets 2 hits in there.
33 seconds. Can be enough of time for their next sort of push.
Oh, the Giant gets 1 punch. The Baby Dragon doing a little bit of splash damage on that King Tower. Now, this push here.
That tower's basically gone, but a defensive freeze. Bats are also on it, and an Earthquake just to chip more damage into the tower.
And now Sandbox, they're in a bit of a pickle because they've lost more health on their Princess Tower.
That is true.
So they got to make something work here. Defensive freeze once again. Lightning to clean up some of the units that are around there. Ice Golem to distract these Princes, buy these other units the time to do their damage.
Yeah, in the middle, Lumberjack did tons of damage to all the units clumped up near the bridge. Still the Musketeer on the back with that Rage now, so should be able to clean that Mega Minion plus some damage.
All right, Giant dropped in there. The Poison cleans up that Musketeer. He was slowing everything down while the Lumberjack starts to hack through, and Sandbox realizes this push is in vain.
Yeah, no Royal Giant, but the Giant is available. There's that Hog Rider.
Yeah, with the Earthquake
underneath. The snowball
it.
Pushed into the tower.
A couple funky snowballs there. All right, but this Giant's only lost about 1/3 of its health as it crosses the bridge. So, let's see if they can get something going here. A defensive freeze, Lightning to reset the Inferno, and a Dark Prince in the pocket to deal with it. That raged up Giant's trying to get there, but then he was just going to prevent it.
Freeze plus a defensive Lumberjack with skeletons? They actually do crazy amount of damage. Wow, they chop the Prince, they chop all the following up units.
Yeah,
that's a nice defense.
Really, really close here. And OG and Entus knows they just have to play defense.
Yeah, no, and Sandbox, they do have to be careful for pocket double hog. I think that's what OG and Entus is really looking for. They use that defensive freeze once. After that, they will have their hogs.
Right.
When the Prince is gone, they can just have that speed. And freeze should be available in cycle soon enough.
Right, we'll see if they'll get the chance. There is that defensive freeze, the Lumberjack, the Ewiz and the Mega Minion just absolutely melt that Giant. Prince is getting kited around.
But the Lightning got everything in defense.
The Prince gets slowed up.
Skeletons are there.
Yeah, and he was already slowed up by that snowball, so he just wasn't doing that attack.
Now my turn, my attack from OG and Entus, but a defensive freeze once again from Sandbox this time.
Deflected. Now it's starting to get a little bit more tricky.
That was
here.
only one hog. There's always a chance for the second one in the pocket, so that's why the Prince is placed right in between.
There's that offensive freeze. A lot of damage coming in here.
One more swap, one more sweep, plus the Poison Earthquake. Can't finish it, but double Giant push.
Okay, Ice Golem trying to buy some time there. Those Skeletons that are doing a great job keeping those Princes busy.
Double Giant, the second one's near 100%
he's
HP.
raged up too. It's a defensive Earthquake just trying to stop anything they can here. A freeze as well, and that'll be it. Sandbox Gaming narrowly takes game number 1. That was close.
Close, but I would actually say quite messy from both teams. They had freeze, but to have freeze perfectly lined up with the setup units that you want to have, it seemed like both teams were trying to push them out of cycle, really have a good one, and really force the opponent to have a defensive freeze all the time. And the Lumberjack, because it was being used in a defensive way, the Rage didn't really connect with the Hog Rider too many times. It was really hard for OGN, and I really think that OGN had a few more chances to actually go into a pocket, because the Giant's actually slowing down the Prince somewhat. A lot of time for them because they're looking to stack the Princes along with the Giant. And they have the Hog with the Lumberjack with that Rage freeze.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised as well that they didn't at least try something like that. And I mean, you saw how effective it was for Sandbox to get things in the pocket behind their Giants, to get on top of those Inferno Towers, to deal with the Skeletons and the various other units that are trying to get onto these Giants here. But the double Giant plus the freeze at the end, enough to finish the job for Sandbox Gaming. So, game numero dos.
Yes, I can count very few after studying for 4 years.
That's about as high as I got.
And I still don't know how to say no thank you.
I don't remember.
See?
I remember I would say thank you, which is gracias, but I don't know. I don't remember.
So, OG and Entos, they need to clean things up and come back in this 2v2, because this is their real chance for both of the teams to take that 2v2. Have been having this duo for some time now for both sides.
Well, let's see what kind of changes we're going to be finding in this matchup. We're both happy to leak Elixir for now and give the clappy Royal Ghost.
Good game is called.
Good game is called. All right. OG and Entis, they've either won or lost it. It's one of the two. Well, it could be a tie, but
yeah, sometimes you just do that to make your opponent think that, okay, maybe they're just giving up. No, of course not.
okay.
Once again,
They want to try the Hog Rider business again. Will it be the freeze underneath it this time? Just the Rage with the Lumberjack and nothing else doing. Maybe don't want to show their hand too early this time.
defensive freeze with Lumberjack. Once again, that combo seems to be what OG and Entis is really pushing for.
This Giant's going to get a few swings in.
And also Prince did survive. So with using that Rage, pushing once again.
Yep. Double Princes to clean that up. The Bats will go down. These Princes are going to charge up. And the E-Wiz will slow down the charge from both of them. Gets the split on the beams. Mega Man Unit helping out there as well.
If it's the same one, Sandbox, they are holding on to that freeze. Last time they didn't really need a defensive one.
Right.
And the second attack was without the Giant, so it wasn't used.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what they're thinking behind all this. A lot of times we do see teams, once they win that first 2v2, they're just going to stick with what worked and stubbornly not go off of it. Defensive freeze again.
But the lightning was the real problem for OG and Entis. Let's see what change they have brought into the second one. Because lightning got the chip damage, not chip damage, some major damage, 307 into the Princess Tower all the time.
Right.
And that eventually basically made the game.
So far, we're just seeing them be much more defensive in their play. They've only used freezes defensively. And there's that Earthquake once again.
And the Rage is being paired with the Mega Man plus the Musketeer, being somewhat effective, but they do want that Hog to be sped up by that Rage.
Yep.
Not going to spend any more elixirs with the Hog Riders once again.
The Giant didn't get down quite in time to...
So OG, they're defending. They're defending, and not really connecting into their own attack. They're busy defending all the time.
Yeah, and this is going decently for
finally
Sandbox.
with that Hog.
Okay, good Musketeer placement, so it's outside of the range of a freeze, so it can at least guarantee some damage onto that Hog.
Also an Earthquake, offensive Earthquake from OGN. Of course, no building damage to the tower and the E-Wizard, but that's about it.
Yep. All right, so bats on top.
A good zap to reset the Inferno Tower.
Yep. All right, are they going to have the lightning come in here as well? Nope. That Inferno Tower is going to take down that giant. No time for the lightning there. And, oh, that Ewis is outside the range of the Princess Tower. That's a nice little bonus. And that is one dead Prince. So we're trying to get the Hog Rider business.
This is the right setup that OG&Entus was looking for such a long time. Spending a lot of spells along with it, but the Hog not really catching its value.
Yeah, they had to use a defensive freeze there. Did Sandbox Gaming. So a half-health giant against an Inferno Tower. It does get lightning. It does get a rage behind it, but it doesn't quite finish it off.
Yeah, as long as...
Oh, look at that Mega Minion.
Did it connect?
It had one swipe.
Maybe.
It was really close.
That may be what determines the game. Not too much left. In few spell range for Sandbox to finish the game. There's that defensive freeze one from Sandbox's time.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple...
523, so lightning plus few more damage. That should be it.
Yeah.
Freeze doesn't really do too much.
Right. Freeze, snowball, and lightning don't do much.
Sandbox, they have defensive freeze. No, it's offensive freeze from OG&Entus and cannot be stopped. Exactly. They had all the units already across the bridge. OG&, after all that wait, they find some window, they find some opportunities to push through. And it was tough because they were defending for about 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Most of that match felt like it was just watching OG&N try to defend Sandbox's pushes. And both teams just running the exact same deck, and this time focusing on defense first and not kind of revealing that freeze as an offensive, utility until the very end there. Pays off.
The amount of trouble comes when you have a freeze and your opponent also has a freeze. If you're the only one that has a freeze, you can look into a lot more chances. But when you use it, the opponent uses it as a defensive move. It just cancels.
Yeah, it makes it kind of a weird little rock, paper, scissors game you got going on there.
Yeah, it's like -1 times -1.
Yeah, you're trying to outguess your opponent on when they're going to freeze and when they're not going to freeze. And trying to find that right chance for your freeze like this to get through and finish the game.
Yeah, only one freeze in that entire 16 set of cards.
It's just a weird little matchup. And the first time you thought, okay, OG&N had a great first freeze. But then it turned out that because they revealed their trump card first and in game number 1, and then Sandbox followed up with a huge push. They didn't even defend that Royal Hog. They just let it do all of its damage while the freeze was in place. And then they set up their own freeze push and ended up completely taking a Princess Tower. So OG&Entus learned from that. They're like, okay, we can buy time. We know what they might do again. No reason to rush it.
Yeah, Hogs are certainly really good. Does direct damage to the buildings and towers. But I think sometimes what you see in the middle of the mix, straight up Hog cycle for 2v2 for both players, but one would actually switch into the Ram Rider and making really good use of that snare against the Prince and the Dark Prince, slowing them down, or even the Giant slowing the attack of the other side, really throwing the speed or the setup attack that's supposed to be, you're supposed to have all the units behind the Giant, but everything just goes past Giant sometimes.
Yeah.
So those are some of the changes that they can make if they want to bring that deck again.
Yeah, if you get that Ram Rider snare locked onto a heavier unit, like the Giant or the Princes or the Balloon. Yeah, it just basically doesn't move, and the Princess Tower just gets to do free damage to it. So I like that. I think that would be a nice little change up here that they could try. Let's see what they got going for us. Game number 3 of our 2v2. Are we gonna wait this time? Last time they waited a little bit. No, skeletons.
Expo.
That's already a little...
No. It's just me. It's just my brain translating skeletons
when you see
into
skeletons, you just want the Expo. So this is already a little different for Sandbox.
Just kidding, guys, of course. E-Wizard. And with no follow-up, I think they just want to... Both teams looking for a cycle. Never mind. Sandbox Gaming.
They want to try their hand at this Hog Rider business now. Earthquake coming down as well. Hog Rider's raged up, so he is going to get... Oh, no, he doesn't get a hit because of that E-Wiz. Uh-oh. Well, that Ice Golem, nice placement there to delay that Hog Rider just a little bit, but the Earthquake is enough.
Ooh, that
oh my
snowball
gosh.
was wasted. The pull from the log was enough. There's
Yes.
that 2v2. Teamwork in a bad way, I would say.
Yeah, now they're just going to try to push this here.
If there was a log here,
Look at this.
they would get the Lumberjack easier and the Hog with less damage.
Yep, they just needed one or the other. And they wasted both,
Yeah, with just that 2 elixir difference from Sandbox and not having a spell against that Hog, OG&Entus got about 1,000 damage in there.
Yep, it's a bit of a mistake. So let's see if they can turn it around here, though. They are coming through, trying to get this Lumberjack push to work. Poison and Earthquake this time.
Of course, you want to change sides. Poison plus the Earthquake will delete the Inferno Tower.
It's 2 hits there, though. So nice little answer there. They're able to even things up. All right, they're going to try and defend here with a Lumberjack and an Inferno Tower. The Earthquake comes down as well. With the E-Wiz here, this time just 1 log, and they have to use the Snowball because the Hog Rider still had so much health.
Yes, because of all the other ones that were taking a few shots. Lumberjack really strong. With that rage, Hog Rider will be moving really quickly.
Yeah, and now let's see if OG&Entus can take advantage of the fact that the spells are down. Once again, there's the defensive freeze.
And an offensive freeze at the same exact place. So both were freezed right after. And then I saw, okay, Ice Golem is supposed to move, and that was frozen also. Another set of puts on the left sandbox. They do want to switch side.
Look at that Ice Golem placement. It drags the Lumberjack away. The Rage still does catch the Hog Rider, though. A good attempt to keep the Rage off the Hog Rider.
Gives a little more time on that Rage. Good Lumberjack setup for that Hog to go directly to the Inferno.
That is 1 dead Hog Rider. His Mega Minion gets 1 swipe in, but that's it. Here comes another push with the Lumberjack.
Ooh, when OG is attacking Sandbox, they went for another attack. That's going to be painful.
Top left had to use a defensive freeze. Is that going to be enough? That Hog Rider is just not quite enough.
The poison and the log will finish the bottom right first. And OG&Entus, the pressure into somewhat of a spell mistake of the opponent's sandbox, and will take that 3rd game. They win on 2v2. They really need this in order to really move up to the next levels of standings.
That was basically the same deck 3 times in a row, more or less, from OG&Entus. And then at the end, Sandbox is like, all right, we're going to try to beat you at your own game. Didn't quite work. Just wasn't quite there. They made that 1 mistake, and then from there it was just able to snowball out of control. Get it?
It's okay. I
got my pun in.
It's okay. I will punch this guy after the cast. No worries, guys.
He's not kidding either.
No, I'm a non-violent man, of course. But they're 2v2. We saw a lot of Hog cycles. Quick cycle with the Lumberjack, making sure that Rage connects with Earthquake. But Hogs are okay when there's an Inferno, but when that Earthquake doesn't work against a lot of air units, that's when it really becomes a problem. That's why we don't really see this 2v2 Hog Rider too many times. But when both teams are using it, it becomes a different story with 2 freeze.
Right, so between the E-Wiz and the Earthquake and everything going on there, it just eliminates so much of the defense that Sandbox is trying to set up, and that allows that Hog Rider to consistently get in there for a hit or 2. And also you're stunning up, you know, whether that be the Lumberjack or the Inferno Tower or a Mega Minion, whatever you've got defending.
Yeah, OG&Entus had the final defensive freeze. They knew that, okay, if we freeze this, remove the damage, we'll have the poison to finish the entire game. So having that final wave of defense was what they needed. We go for that 1v1. Woo. Tornado being banned. And Inferno Tower. We're just going to have some baits and the miners being
I was going to say, I'm like miner.
It's always a miner when it's not banned.
Miner Prince. That's what it feels like these
miner
days.
Poison, Miner Prince, Miner Lava Hound, Miner Mirror Miner, Miner
Giant,
Rascals,
Miner Giant.
Mortal, Miner Expo. What else?
Anything. Just like literally any deck it goes. I've seen Miner Royal Giant. It's just like there's literally anything you could pretty much want to do. I don't usually see it paired with Golem, I guess. I'm sure there's plenty of decks out there that do it, but I haven't seen it paired, at least that I can remember, in competitive Clash.
Looking down on my list of at least 40 different decks.
Right.
Lots of minor, but actually not too many minors in the Battle Ram. That's about it.
Ah, okay.
Other than those few and the Expo and few building spawner decks. And that minor can fit in a lot of decks, and you can switch out with a minor too. That's why minor is such a crucial card, especially if you are thinking about the mind games. Of course, we're talking about this because that tornado is banned. Let's get into game 1. Victor from OP.GAMING versus Sandbox Gaming. The player is Sado.
Well, Victor's looking to turn it around here. He is 0-2. In fact, he hasn't won a single game in his 1v1 matchups. Now, he has won both King of the Hill games he's played, but he has not won his 1v1 sets. So he's looking to turn it around, get the win for himself, and then the match victory for OP.GAMING.
We've seen with the Baby Dragon and Few, because we don't really see golems too much, oftentimes we just say, okay, maybe just a Royal Giant, but we did see a golem last night. I mean, with a really similar and the flying machine to it.
Yeah, there's those 3 cards together, you can fit so much behind them. There's the Royal Giant.
Here we go.
Yep, with the Lumberjack behind it.
Princess locked onto Royal Giant.
Yeah.
So hitting a lot with that rage. A few more.
Oh. Okay, that is a pretty darn good push here.
Half HP gone on that Princess Tower already.
Yep, I was just about to say, Iwa probably about to come down here.
Flying machine locked onto the tower.
Oh, that's bad. Ooh, he's got the Fireball, though.
Yeah, Fireball is a great answer against the Flying Machine. Had that end cycle.
Right.
Big Victor was waiting for that amount of elixirs, but still the pups.
So much damage. So this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, if there's the Barbarians, because there's no Inferno Tower, you bring the Fireball. And it's nice to have against that Flying Machine as well.
What if you split Barbarians?
Then you're Ewiz. That's fine. Ewiz or Baby Dragon. Doesn't matter.
Another lava push. Sado's still waiting for that perfect moment.
Yeah, he's gonna have to defend this push a little bit since he lost out overall. Comes that Lumberjack, a Mega Minion down here as well. Get a little bit of Fire Spirit damage going. There's that Fireball to instantly delete.
Does he have a clone? It seems like he's really...
Yep. We see it again!
It really seemed like he wanted to pressure with that lava wave for some time because there was nothing else really following that.
No, that's so much damage. He doesn't have an answer for those bats and those guards.
So good news for Victor, he does have the E-Wizard and the Fireball. So a lot can be removed even though it's air, so Barbaro will not get its full value too much with that against that clone, but once he has lost.
Yeah.
385, that's not too far away.
No.
But still no poison.
I mean, the good news is there's no high damage spells.
But Royal Giant still doing damage with the rage.
Shot. Okay, he's got an Ewiz here or something. There it is. Good, good. Defend, but that's not quite enough because of that rage. Those guards are getting in there and doing a lot of damage. One more hit.
Flying machine. But, of course, the snowball is going to finish just in time at exactly 3 minutes up. Snowball finishing off that tower with 48 HP, I believe. More than enough damage. What a game.
Yeah, that was a really close game.
You could really feel that clone coming.
Yeah.
Or maybe sometimes the freeze does do work. When the lava breaks, you just freeze on top. When you expect your opponent to do nothing because it's just the pubs, it will just take some damage. When there's that freeze, it will just do continuous amount of attacks.
Right, and there's a bunch of other stuff that goes underneath that clone that if it's cloned, it's really powerful. The Flying Machine, the Lumberjack, if that gets cloned, if you're lucky enough. But in this deck, the guards, those are nice if they get cloned. The bats are great if they get cloned. Like everything that gets cloned underneath it is
small units that, this.
So much damage.
Yeah, that clone was a weird one, I would say, on the weird timing, but still, the pressure was large enough, and also, I think Victor was also trying to think that, what could this be? Is it going to be clone freeze or some different unit that I'm not really seeing here?
Yeah, there's a bunch of other like weird stuff that could happen underneath there. Clone, good call on that, and I don't know, maybe you could even do something like minor poison. Because that goes everywhere.
Well, there's always a room with that lava, and
Yeah.
because there was no balloon.
Yes.
Especially, I think
And we
Sada
didn't
really
see
had
any,
a chance.
Yeah, and we didn't see any minor shenanigans early on. You usually see that stuff just kind of chipping away, trying to probe at your opponent's, defenses, see what they're running. All right, Royal Hogs right out the front door here, and a Barbarian Barrel and a Lumberjack to help clean these Royal Hogs up, but they're going to do a decent amount of damage there, just over 500 damage done.
Yeah, good one. You're really looking into your opponent's first starting end to get that damage done, and also great deck choice because you got that Inferno Tower basically removed.
So this might be, with Princess here, I was about to think maybe this might be the Barbarian Royal Hog deck, but now with Princess, I do not think that. And Mini Peck, I definitely do not think that.
There are log baits with lots of Valkyries and different types. Even the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yep, Lava Hound here for Victor. This time it has locked onto the Princess Tower, but that Princess over on the left-hand side getting quite a few shots in as well. Now it's starting to do some work onto that Barbarian, which is really nice that that Barbarian distracted because those pups get a lot of damage in.
Ooh. Princess did get the area damage, but a little too slow, already took too much damage, along with that Baby Dragon from Victor.
Yep, Inferno Dragon here. Nice job taking care of that Princess. Now you got to throw something down like the Ice Golem or the Bats to kite that Inferno Dragon. And the Lava Hound push begins. Lava Hound is proving really, really strong this season. It is a really powerful deck to run. All right, only a Lumberjack so far dealing with these Royal Hogs. They do a lot of damage if it's just one of them. I know this Lumberjack hits hard, but there's too many of them.
Yeah, it might just be the poison.
I'm pretty sure it's
and the speed is not the same.
I feel like this, yeah, there's the poison.
And look at that. That's the level of play we see. Victor tried to get the Princess. Basaldo was reading that miner coming right next to Princess, so that Mini P.E.K.K.A. deletes it. But that power push.
Raged up units here on the bottom right, but the top left almost goes down. That's within not a log range, but if you have another more powerful spell behind this, you could do that.
Two players having mind games in the middle of the big push on either side.
And this Mini P.E.K.K.A. does end up defeating the Lumberjack here. There's a miner in the back of all these Hogs trying to deal with this. This is a huge push here onto Victor's towers. He loses another one. He's got to make this Lava Hound push work. But they are going to get split apart, and a lot of healthy units in there, including the Princess, who's doing AoE damage.
It's pretty hard as we find Victor pretty frustrated right there. So he was having that poison, holding that, but against the Hogs, without the building in the middle, it can be really tough. And it's going to be the victory going into Sado and Sandbox Gaming. We are going into that first King of the Hill for tonight.
Yep. Good play here by Sado. Victor, these 1-on-1s have been very, very challenging for him. He is 0-6 in games and 0-3 in sets.
Well, his King of the Hill was all right.
Yes.
With 2-0. But for the set score, what he's trying, and oftentimes he is somewhat countered in the deck choices. And it's really hard to read that the opponent's going to bring out the Royal Hogs just from the Inferno Tower ban, because Inferno Tower is in so many different decks.
Yeah, and it's not like the best building against Royal Hogs. You know, there are others that are better.
It was also Sado using the ban of OG and Entus, which looks like it's a lot smarter than it actually is. Using your opponent's ban, just so good. Well, Hogs, no Tornado, no Inferno Tower. You have a lot more chances to go directly to your opponent's Princess Tower.
Yeah, he just didn't have great answers for those Royal Hogs. Lumberjack by himself is just not enough. A Lumberjack and a Barbarian Barrel is still like meh. Like Guards is okay with something else, but you have to commit a lot of resources to he doesn't have a great answer to the Royal Hogs.
And Princess, great additional card into the deck when you're looking for that log bait.
Yeah.
And the Mini P.E.K.K.A. was a real challenge, leading that miner oftentimes. Sado reading the mind games of Victor to a next level. That was a big challenge. And
then just all you need is a fireball to finish it off. It's just just doesn't have, you know, he has to commit a lot of elixir to defense against those Royal Hogs so they don't get quite a bit of damage done in that situation. It's just more of a matchup issue. I mean, he did a pretty good job, but in the end.
But the ban cards will change. No Prince, says Sandbox Gaming. Ido Greed Sado. 1, 2, 3. One Crown TNT Victor. So TNT in a while. Have not seen him playing that 1v1, but he will come out now after playing that 2v2. OJ and Entus finally bringing their power into that 1v1.
Yeah, these are some strong 1v1 players. Definitely One Crown TNT. We've seen them be very highly touted in the past. Ido, Greed, and Sato. So this should be pretty fun. All around, some really strong players. All of them have had experience in King of the Hills. So no strangers to any of this. Ido, though, just he has one loss in the game. He lost to Manong GP when they played Brenny Sports in King of the Hill. Sato, he's played a lot. He's got 4 wins, 2 losses in his King of the Hill matchups, and Greed has 2 wins and a loss in his King of the Hill. So Sandbox has been decent in King of the Hill. They got 1 win out of it against, I believe it was OP.GAMING.
We had some, of course, lots of double prints decks, not just in 2v2, 1v1 of course. So that removed, and we're slightly moving away from the meta where it's just Royal Giants all over again with that Furnace. Of course, it's not totally out, but we are seeing, compared to the weeks before, data shows we don't really see it like 40% of the time. It's reduced down to about, I would say, maybe 20%-ish. So we're moving away from that. A lot more hogs, some more cycles, depending on the team. I think that's some preference. But let's see what these 2 teams are going to bring that for that King of the Hill.
A lot of Lava Hound recently. Seeing a lot of that. Well, One Crown versus Ido here. An Ice Spirit comes in. He'll let the damage go on. Not even quite 100 damage. Ooh. Not quite there with the Bandit.
Yeah, that's the usual one, you would say. But without the Tornado, Miner can go anywhere.
Yep. Barbarian Barrel on top of the Miner. Didn't get a stash, but still ends up getting finished by the Barbarian.
That's one of the best parts about the Bandit. You can, if she's able to defend, because she has that dash straight into the tower, opponent has to bring something out.
One Crown. Miner again. Make good minion placement, very good. Right on top of it. They get their swipes right away. Minimum amount of damage from the Miner that time. And a Dark Prince here from Ido. It feels like the P.E.K.K.A deck. Maybe a Mega Knight, but usually with the Dark Prince, we've been seeing the P.E.K.K.A with it. And a Valkyrie here for One Crown.
Yeah, so with that Prince ban, you can just switch into the Dark Prince. A lot of the decks just work fine with a similar cycle. You don't really have to worry about it too much.
Yep. That Valkyrie walked all the way across the
map. It actually took a lot of shots from the Princess Tower, making the Miner do some more damage. Of course, the minions were on top.
Still.
Additional damage from that extra value.
It's just kind of cute.
and Ido's the one that kind of dragged into it.
Yeah. Well, pretty even. Even Steven so far.
Yeah, One Crown's going to have likely Inferno Tower and just the poison.
Yeah.
With that Minor poison cycle. And it's going to be a really quick cycle. And Ido has that P.E.K.K.A. because, okay, of course, P.E.K.K.A Dark Prince or Prince and Mega Knight. Those are the combos right now.
Yep, there's that Inferno Tower. The poison comes down right away to try to counter it. Ooh, he zapped and he actually didn't need to there because that had lost. It had gone out of range
because of that Barbarian Barrel. But still, it took enough damage and enough time for the Princess Tower to do lots of arrow shots.
Get a minion hit in there as well. All right, Bandit at about the worst spot possible there. So that is a lot of hits up for that Miner. We'll see how this cycle works out. If they can get through the P.E.K.K.A defense with anything other than the Miner. Oh, this is a big push.
Even the battle ram right on top.
Yep.
Wants to take a lot of shots, the minions, but the poison will get a lot of value. All the small ones are gone.
Yeah. Oh, that bandit just dashes right in there.
Huh?
Now's the time to zap if you got it. Nope. Okay.
No, Ito zapped right before. Right after.
Oh, he did?
Like 2 seconds ago. Huh?
Oh, okay.
Resetting the
missed
Inferno,
that.
but still that was good, just good enough because all the small ones already disappeared from the poison.
Gotcha. Then now it all makes sense. Dark
Ito's
Prince
not gonna
loses. Yeah, it's just you're just waiting for something to happen besides
Ito's
the miner like doing damage.
And in all of a sudden, you do want to split your attack oftentimes with the P.E.K.K.A. Ram.
Okay.
P.E.K.K.A. B-Ram, but you still already did too much damage. So there's that offensive poison, what Ito's looking for.
That poison placement is so
P.E.K.K.A.'s
good.
actually still really
Still very healthy.
so
This
putting
is
a
a
lot
very
of elixirs into it.
That
And
Ewiz isn't going to stop it.
P.E.K.K.A. got one,
Yep.
two. That's game. Ito takes one, and that's the first one down from OG and Entus. Second one. Second player must come up.
It just seemed like it was just nothing but poison damage and minor damage for a long time there. And then eventually, you know, you get that Battle Ram and the Dark Prince and the Bandit in front of the P.E.K.K.A. to, you know, distract the Inferno Tower. And then, you know, even though you've got the skeletons and the other units to make the P.E.K.K.A. dance, it's just not quite enough in the end. There's just too much there, too much damage to be done. And there's a Battle Ram that comes in. That Ewiz just a little too late.
Lots of damage chipped in. And the Zab, of course, against the Inferno Tower was a great choice. Great choice.
Right. That Barbarian from the Battle Ram able to handle the Inferno Tower for P.E.K.K.A. so he can go in and do his thing.
And the skeletons can draw a lot of time away from that P.E.K.K.A. But once that poison is on, it's really hard to place the skeletons close enough to the tower. I think that's the reason why the poison was around the opponent's tower, so that the skeletons can't really drag the P.E.K.K.A. too much.
Yeah, exactly. And that last poison was really good because just a little bit of it was hitting the Inferno Tower and the rest was hitting the Ewiz. So that Ewiz went down a lot faster, which allowed the P.E.K.K.A. to stay a little healthier a little longer to get those 2 swipes in. So it's good poison placement. Good build up to that push by Ito. Now it's on TNT to turn things around for OG and Entus. This guy's quite good. We've seen in the past, he's pretty darn good at 1v1s.
And OG and Entus really looking into their star players in 1v1, but the result have not been so good too much. And for now, it seemed like at the beginning of the season, TNT playing a lot of 1v1s, but their main problem has been 2v2, so he had to switch into that 2v2 mode with the team. But what's funny is that if you never lose in 1v1, you always win.
Yes. It's really strange. And this is a problem that OP.GAMING's been having as well. Expo Master, they put him in 2v2 because he's really good at it, and then they're struggling to find someone who can consistently win in 1v1 and King of the Hill.
Yes, that's what the story has been focused about most of the time. We have a lot of strong players bringing the win, but a lot of upsets last night. Yeah, could be continuous of that story.
Ice Golem to kite the Lumberjack. There's the Baby Dragon here. Oh, Balloon Miner.
Balloon Miner cycle.
Oh, that Ram Rider, no. That was supposed to be your defense. That was supposed to snare it, and just in time. The E-Wiz comes down, and that snare should be just enough.
The final snare with the E-Wiz, having that many stuns.
And the death damage doesn't even go onto the tower, so. Ito with some impressive defense and gets a little damage up on that top right from that Baby Dragon.
Yes. The Ram Rider didn't really do any damage, but the Baby Dragon TNT was focusing a lot onto left side. But this is just the beginning with that minor balloon, though.
Right, that looked dangerous because the Ram Rider's great against balloon. That snare prevents, if you time it right with the Ram Rider placement, it prevents the balloon from even getting within death damage. He had to use the E-Wiz as well, but whoa, hello. That's Interesting.
Let's see what this brings. He intentionally had the later Rascals.
Right.
I think he just wanted to have some mind games with Ito.
Yep. Okay. Another P.E.K.K.A deck here. Gonna try the balloon again since the P.E.K.K.A came
when the
down.
P.E.K.K.A went to the left side.
Good job with that Barbarian Barrel because that buys time for that snare. And now there's nothing there. And the snowball!
Tower!
Oh no! This is disaster for Ito.
Say bye-bye to that princess. I didn't even get to say bye.
I don't think Ito needed to place his P.E.K.K.A yet. I don't think there was any reason to place that P.E.K.K.A yet. I think he was fine just playing defense, keeping that balloon for sure off his towers. He was already ahead. Wait until double elixir because the things that come in front of with the miner and behind that balloon make it really difficult to defend with just the Ram Rider.
There's that Earthquake. If Ito had not made that mistake, I think he really had the chance in this one against the Inferno Tower. It's not over yet, but still what's left on top left is still a lot. 1426. 20 seconds. Ito, what does he have? A 10 elixir magic.
Yeah, this is just, there's just nothing he can do. It's too little too late. He's got to rely on a Ram Rider or a P.E.K.K.A to get through, and there's just no way.
Yeah, another set of balloon. He's got to defend first, and there's no time to go all the way to the opponent's Princess Tower. That's game. TNT switching things up, making sure that Ito cannot really react perfectly.
And credit to TNT to pounce on that mistake by Ito. Once that P.E.K.K.A is down, that's 7 elixir gone. So okay, you drop your balloon for 5, then you throw the Barbarian Barrel in front of it, so that way if he drops Ram Rider or E-Wiz, it gives you a little bit more time. And then you got the bats that come behind it, and then the balloon's pretty much guaranteed to get through.
These low cycle balloons, not just with the miner, with the lumberjack oftentimes too, are really coming into play a lot of time because the opponents are most likely to have a lot more heavier ones like the Royal Giant, the B-Ram, P.E.K.K.A Ram, and the Ram Riders, and so on. So, and they're a lot slower in comparison to the really cheap cycles of that balloon.
Yeah, that's also true too.
I think they're trying to really poke into that hole just in case, and then if you have the faster cycle, P.E.K.K.A's pretty slow. Okay, that's the time to go. TNT really knew that timing was coming soon.
All right, so next up for Sandbox is Greed, who's going to be going up against TNT now. Greed 2-1 in King of the Hill. Most played, Miner, Baby Dragon, Barbarian Barrel. Those are pretty common, most played cards.
Yes, for sure.
Signals that
if there's
maybe
a person, if there's a player without the Barbarian Barrel in that most played and all the way onto the left, something's wrong with our infographic on the right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it signals that, you know, maybe he wants to play some Lava Hound or something like that. I mean, there's a bunch you can play with that trio. All kinds of good things fit in behind it. See what TNT wants to do this time around. I liked the Balloon Miner Rascals Inferno Tower setup. It's a nice little counter punch there to the P.E.K.K.A. So let's see what Greed has in store now for TNT this time around. Can he turn it around, get another win for Sandbox, or will TNT continue to push forward for OG and Entus?
And will TNT change his deck because he loves all that cheap cycles? That's what we have been seeing from the really high-skilled players especially. See, only the Prince ban. So Dark Prince is out there. And for the P.E.K.K.A deck, it's really hard to have another building like an Inferno Tower in it to draw the balloon towards the center.
Right.
So somewhat had trouble with Ito.
All right. Yep, Miner once again. Mega Minion to counter here. Good placement with that Mega Minion because it doesn't really have to move. Start getting its swipes down onto the Miner. And Greed is happy to just chew through a little bit of elixir here to try to suss out what TNT wants to do. Ice Golem. This looks kind of similar. This looks really similar.
Yeah, it's a mini version of the Three Musketeer Ice Golem.
Well, this is almost identical to the deck he ran last time. So Yeah.
Then, yes, basically choose one.
And then, okay, this time they've got Tombstone, but there's a miner there soaking up a lot of damage. This balloon might get one drop. It does get a drop.
Good Mega Minion placement to delay the balloon going straight into the tower. I think Greed knew that was coming, but the wave was actually pretty big coming into the tower, so a lot of diversions into focus. Nice setup by TNT with the starting hand.
He really knows how to work this miner balloon deck. And yep, there's that Lava Hound.
Just like, it's just a repeat. It's like when we saw the P.E.K.K.A on the other side. His tower is gone. Greed has to focus on his own attack. Basically, that's it.
Yeah. Now, TNT, he probably has the Inferno Tower for defense along with whatever he wants and full elixir.
That has been the main problem here.
And then there's nothing that really is going to stop this
Greed
Inferno.
has a miner, okay.
Yeah, miner.
I was thinking
Miner poison there probably is most likely. But there's just, with that Inferno Tower there, you got no answer.
Connecting some damage, but it's not critical enough to bring it down. 40 seconds, and that balloon will be pressuring into the King Tower now.
Even with Tombstone, Tombstone doesn't last very long against a balloon.
Inferno maybe a little too late.
Yeah, yep. It still gets a drop, so that's a lot of damage done. 1,000 exactly left.
Greed is running out of his Uno cards. And he needs to get a lot more out of the deck right now, but TNT's not letting that happen. He's getting his turn all over again.
Hey, this isn't bad.
Only 11 seconds though. Good knock away so that Inferno doesn't connect to the tower.
Yep. The Inferno does go down. He's got to distract. The miner is to buy time so he can win. And he does it. 2 games in a row. Miner balloon.
And that's TNT. And the reason why we have been saying, why is this player always playing 2v2 instead of 1v1? And actually, that was a bad reference. You win by tossing down all the cards, right?
I knew what you meant.
Yes. Whatever. I played enough.
I knew what you meant, and I'm like, well, you mean the opposite of what you just said, but whatever.
As long as we have chemistry, it's okay. But this is what TNT does. Not letting your opponent do whatever he wants to, but he's greedy.
Yeah.
He's selfish.
He's the greedy one. Greed is not greedy.
Yes. TNT does whatever he wants to do.
Well, TNT.
And you can only do that in games if you're good.
Yes.
When you're good.
Yes. Well, I mean, those 7 cost, beefy units, and he just waits for that to be placed, and he's just like, balloon. What do you got now? Nothing. You have a Tombstone? That's cool. That dies in 1 hit. And then my balloon is barely taking any damage. There's just no great answers. A Mega Minion isn't enough. I mean, to defend against a balloon, right, you got to have, Ewas is nice, things like that. Bats or minions or something like that. I mean, yeah, they can get taken out by spells or whatever, but those are some of your best options, and when those aren't available, you got to find a way to make those pushes work. But with the defense available in TNT's deck with the Inferno Tower and the other things, and you don't have a great answer for that Inferno Tower, that's all she wrote.
Yeah, Greed thought that Tombstone bought himself enough time against that balloon. There's no tornado to draw it back. And there is that Inferno Tower. It's not banned in this match. Not this match, this set.
Yes.
Set number 3 in King of the Hill. What are other things really good against balloons?
Against balloons? Well, I mean, Ram Rider is okay, but you have to be good with the timing of it to get the snare. Yeah, like I said, Ewiz, Bats, Minions, of course. Something like Flying Machine or Musketeer is okay. Anything that's got high DPS.
Yeah, Snowball's also okay if you can knock it back really well all the time, but sometimes it's really hard at the same time.
And if you have Lightning, it's not ideal, but it works. Same thing with Fireball. A lot of the defensive towers are pretty decent. Tighten it around.
Let's see if TNT brings that balloon again. There can be some different balloon cycle decks as well.
We've seen the Mortar deck be pretty good against it.
Yes.
In the right hands.
Sado. In the right hands, you mean not our hands?
Not our hands in Benzer or somebody else's hands.
Yes, that's it. Sado's here to stop it all, though. He's got that 2-0 win against Victor.
Yep, they're the archers.
Expo. No. There are a few others with the archers now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually... You're right. Usually it's Expo. Snowball to push this. Mega Minion back. There's a furnace here.
Yeah, I think TNT possibly wanted to connect that Baby Dragon into the tower.
Yes.
With maybe a little more further back on the Mega Minion.
Just wasn't quite enough. All right, so a furnace and archers here. That's a little interesting.
Slowed down with that snowball.
I'm trying to look through my crazy amount of decks that I have written down. I'm like, what has furnace and archers? P.E.K.K.A here for TNT this time, so really switching it up this time around. Going much heavier. And a P.E.K.K.A here for Sato as well. Whoa. Cool. This ought to be interesting.
Let's see what follows. See the snowballs?
I'm just trying to think through. All right, Mega Minion gonna help take out this P.E.K.K.A the bar barrel. A graveyard here for Sato. So Sato really
even has to drop the E-Wiz for the defense.
So this is kind of a weird version of that furnace graveyard stuff we've been seeing. A much more expensive version, because usually you have stuff like Ice Golem.
And the Ramrat on the right. No defense.
Oh no.
Charge straight coming.
Oh, it gets in. Oh, and the snowball there to buy it some more time as well.
The attack was canceled within the animation of that attack from the Mega Minion. Nicely timed for TNT.
I guess maybe if you're Sato, you have a poison or a freeze sitting on the end of this? That's my guess.
Yeah, with the graveyard, that is the perfect pair.
Yeah. I mean, because the problem right now is these fire spirits. There's the poison. These fire spirits aren't getting through because they're just running into a P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A just kind of goes, oh, this is cute. Plus, you got the E-Wiz to clean them up as well.
And I think TNT is also looking for some other answers.
I mean, they're both doing a pretty good job defending this. I mean, really, the only thing we've seen come through for TNT is that Ram Rider.
Yeah, and with that set of attacks and having that P.E.K.K.A being one, I think he's really looking for that timing when there's a furnace, maybe a lightning to delete it all, or like an earthquake.
Right.
To get all that building down in HP and then going straight into the tower for that Ram Rider.
Right, well, here we go. The Ram Rider is going to try, but not quite get there this time. Now he's got a Baby Dragon and an E-Wiz here without much to defend except a furnace. And then a Mega Minion does come down, but decent amount of damage coming through from that Baby Dragon.
It would be a lot quicker in cycle if it's an earthquake. I think
yes,
he's holding on to some of the heavier elixir spell here. But the archers are somewhat of a problem.
Okay, I looked in his hand. It's lightning.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And a defensive poison here. And the archers are actually okay against the P.E.K.K.A too. Doesn't really slow it down, but two hits instead of one.
Ooh, that bandit though. Just in time, that barbarian barrel. Yeah, archers are do a sneaky amount of damage. I mean, they're great against like tanks if they're left, you know, to their own devices to just do their damage. And they're beefier than you think. They're not going to get taken down by a snowball or a lightning. Or I'm sorry, not a lightning, a zap.
Snare.
All right.
And there's that lightning.
Oh, this is big. This is big. This is big. You got the Ram Rider and the P.E.K.K.A here.
Archers are away, and the P.E.K.K.A goes straight into the tower.
Oh, no.
Barbarian a little too far away.
Okay, a little more damage and 2 lightnings. So you can get another Ram Rider thing going here. And Sato could end up going down to TNT, but we'll see. He's still very much in this.
Ooh, even a single barbarian hit.
That's a big deal.
I know. When we only have a minute left in the game.
Right.
And the opponent has lightning. That's the real problem. So furnace, if Sato wants to put it down, it's got to be away from that tower.
Right, exactly. He cannot afford to let anything.
But if it's away from the tower, the fire spirits will not spawn. Will not go to the left side. So that card is basically locked.
Yeah. The real question is can he afford? He doesn't really need to because of our overtime rules. He can just play defense.
Sato needs to have that time with that graveyard, but none of his units are going across the bridge. Now he's looking for the chance.
All right. There's a poison there to try to eliminate all this stuff, but dual barbarian barrels coming through. I just don't think it's quite enough. He just isn't able to find a way.
If he uses that graveyard in the middle, you can actually try to change the cycle of TNT, but I think because he's losing and he doesn't have too much time, Saldo has a lot of things to think about right now.
Yeah, and now he has to throw down a desperation
Uh-huh.
furnace in front of that Ram Rider, which is going to get just eliminated by this Barb Barrel. Now he's trying the graveyard thing one more time. He only has 10 more seconds to make this work. This has to go, or else it is over.
A defensive snowball, I think that basically is the last nail in the coffin, and TNT 3-0 streak against Team Sandbox Gaming. I believe we're going to see a lot more of TNT playing in that 1v1 after tonight.
Just putting the team on his back. Absolutely masterful performance here with the Miner Balloon deck, and then finishes it off with the P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider deck. Just really excellent, excellent play from TNT across the board today. Winning the 2v2 with his partner, Thunder, then coming down here and all killing Sandbox. So that moves OG and Entis to 3-3. Sandbox, they are now 1-5.
1-5 is a pretty low match score number when we are this many weeks into the league, but still it's not impossible to climb up to at least the middle ground a little higher. First place maybe a little bit too far already, but it all stacks up. One mistake can cost you or team the match, not just an individual here. Here comes the result. We had pretty quick 2-0s between the first two matches. But the third one, it was an incredible one. Big sweep by TNT.
Yeah, and again, it's Group B coming through 2-1. They were 2-1 yesterday. They're 2-1 again today. So Group B looking to be, so far, the stronger of the two groups. Brent Esports, though, looking to be maybe our strongest team here in Clash Royale League Asia. They are so good at 2v2. It's just mind-boggling. And then they've got a bunch of really good 1v1 players behind it all.
Yeah, that's the reason why they don't even go to that King of the Hill too many times. Let's see if there will be a team that takes them down in that 2v2 in the future. Here's the updated standings of Group A and Group B. Game with Brand Esports 5-1.
Was there a penalty for Brent Esports? Is that why they're...
No, it's set in games, but before we count for set in games, it's head-to-head first.
Ah!
Gamewood is the only one that beat Brand Esports.
Ah!
That's why it's a head-to-head.
That's right.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting about that too. But
well, I'm so used to just being like looking at the sets and games.
Read what's on top right in yellow font.
Oh my gosh.
It's all there for you, OGN Productions, ready for every single thing that you have questions. It's on the screen.
They're way ahead of me. I just asked that question to make sure everybody at home was paying attention.
It's actually quite funny because Group A, they had a lot of action, but a lot of results being different, like good teams advancing a little further, bad teams going down a little further. So a lot more closer in number for Group B.
Next week, look at this. OP.GAMING versus Ponos. That should be fun. We get to see the Expo Master versus Mikan Booyah.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Is coming back, but in total result has not been too well. Same for Expo Master. I think he's not as flawless compared to last year.
We might get to see him in 2v2 against each other.
That's right. That's also right. And King of the Hill possibility. After that, Definition Gaming versus Chaos Theory. There are lots of really good ones. Brainy Sports, OG, and Entis. Looking for more crazy actions, but where are the Elite Barbarians? That's my real question.
Wait, have we seen Bomber yet?
Yeah. I'm thinking about my ladder games. Just
I see Bomber on ladder, but I don't know if I've ever seen it this season in Clash.
It's in Wall Breakers, but
yeah, we saw Wall Breakers.
I think we're not yet, if I remember correctly, because yes.
Even with the buff, it's still just kind of weird. It's still just a little weird to use.
See a lot of Elite Barbarians during the rehearsals, but that's about it though. And maybe there will be one day. Maybe Elite Barbarians can actually do
someday they'll have the
area
chance.
damage. No, that's gonna be too.
No, I know. Get off. No, the ladder's already bad enough with.
I want to use it.
You know. No, you're done.
Oh, that's it for the week action here. Thanks for tuning in to Clash Royale League Asia. We will be back next week with more games.